Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you. Showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling. It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side is my main man, Mr. Jarek from Jant Sports. No Mikey tonight. He had a appointment or a dinner thing with his work, whatever. So, you know what? I got our special co-host who often joins us. Jarek, what up, dude? Man, it's been a while since we talked Buffalo Bills football, and man, this offseason so far. Tell me your thoughts on this offseason so far, because we're not done yet. Obviously, the draft's right around the corner. But what is your thoughts?
Well, I thought we did a really good job in terms of extending a lot of our players. I thought that, again, getting Rousseau, extending Terrell Bernard, I thought those were pretty big contracts for the team. So that's the good thing. Now, of course, the bad thing is that we didn't, we still can't get James Cook done, which I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea if we're going to continue to do that. And then there's Christian Benford, which is the one that pisses me off the most, because Christian Benford, that should have been probably the number 2 guy. I would have rather had, made that a priority compared to Gregory Rousseau. Benford has been arguably one of the top 10 or top 15 corners in the National Football League over the last couple of years. You had an opportunity to put him on a very low contract, $20 to $21 million. And now that market we may have to get him at 23, 24, maybe as max as $25 million. It's going to skyrocket now, because we underestimated how much the quarterback market can change. So I like the fact how we were able to extend certain players on the team, make those long-term contracts. But the flip side is that we didn't attack one of the most important positions in an already thin sort of group at corner. And now, again, Christian Benford, with 1 more year left on his contract, if we don't extend this guy quickly, we're going to be in a situation to a point where we may not even want to pay him the amount of money that he's even going to demand for. Free agency wise, again, we talked about this a little off air. It's okay. You got Josh Palmer, who's more of a man coverage beater. You got you had Obanoji, who's more of a 3-tech who also can play one, so he's got versatility within his game. But he's really more of a pass rushing guy, more of a pass rushing specialist, more than the next prototypical run defender. I don't think he's that same caliber player anymore. But he's supposed to be your backup 3-tech right next to Ed Oliver. And then there's Michael Coit, who is, I don't even know what position does he play. He's playing in the slot. He's playing in off-ball linebacker. He's playing edge. He was a defensive tackle that they made him lost weight. So I guess he's supposed to be that Zoe hybrid. The problem is, though, again, we talked about this a little off air. Your 2 players that you gave close to a little over $30 million to are going to be suspended for the first 6 games because both of them have PED suspensions. So, I mean, Pro Football Focus had us as an A-, but the biggest issue that I have is that we still didn't address the most important needs, which was corner, which was 1 tech at defensive tackle, and we spent it. I mean, it just felt like we played it a little bit too safe. Not to mention that we didn't address the most important need, which was trying to get that Benford contract done. Yeah,
I think to Roy's point here, there's still time, and Bean, for the most part, I will say, has done his players right that he's drafted. As far as extensions go, there's only been a few that he's kind of like let walk, right? Like Tremaine Edmonds, which he knew was going to require a lot of money. But for the most part, he's paid his he's paid the guys he drafted, right? And some of it's backfired, right? I mean, I think that's the concern that I have with Benford, though. Benford's Benford, we got lucky with him. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
because Kyrie Allen it just did not work out. And thank God Benford was there to kind of put the Band-Aid over what was a first round bust. Because really, honestly, if it wasn't for Benford, like people will be talking more about Kyrie Allen being like a bust. You know what I mean? It kind of like people kind of forgot about it almost, right? I mean, Bills Mafia still talks about it, but it's not that big of a deal because of Benford, right? Like he made up for it. So, but my concern with Benford is his injuries, right? Like he misses time. He misses time each season. He seems like he misses some games. That would be my only concern, but I think, I don't know at this point. I think you pay him. I think you do. I don't know what we just got to hope he stays healthy or, whatever kind of strength and condition. I know we fired, didn't we not fire? Didn't our strength and conditioning coach leave or did we fire him or we got a new one? I know we got some new coaches.
Yeah, we
fired him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know if that will help, but, these injuries is what's really hurt a lot of these extensions, like these players, right? Matt Milano, that are backfiring. Trey White, right? Like that hurt. So we'll see, when it comes to that. But I think they'll get it done. I do. But like you said, it's going up. You're right. So I think there's a corner that just got paid too, a lot of money.
Tommy,
right?
It's hard to justify that. Like the more and more that, like, what if Benford gets hurt again? And again, he hasn't really missed like significant time. I don't think he's ever missed huge significant time. But these injuries, if they continue to occur every single season, I mean, how are you gonna justify that contract now? Because if he's gonna be asking, say, listen, I'm playing at a top 10 level, I believe I deserve the same like $25 million. I believe I earn Derek Stingley money. If Sauce gets paid 32, 33, like if he gets paid $32 million. I mean, you're only going to make it harder for yourself, and it's going to be harder for the Buffalo Bills to justify the contract that he wants because they're going to be arguing, well, you haven't been healthy at the most important moments. Yes, you've played great, but is it the Sean? But again, we believe that the system is elevating your talent. Like it's going to be some sort of justification for both sides about one should be getting paid this amount of money, and one is trying to pay him, but not trying to pay him to the money that's going to break the bank. The Bills are they're masterminds in terms of getting players their contracts, but getting team-friendly contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Not every player is willing to go to that risk. So the fact that that we haven't prioritized that, despite knowing his history, good and bad, it's only going to become a problem if we don't pay him.
I hear you. Daniel says you look a little different, Mikey, without your hat on.
Yeah, I got a little bit of hair. I got a little bit of hair on my skin, little darker. I got a little tan.
I got a little tanner. Yo, Aramis, what up?
What's going on?
What up, man? Hey, yo, King Aramis was just on for like 5 hours, right? This dude was driving, doing his grocery shopping. I mean, just straight up podcast city over there. Check them boys out. Post Podium Podcast. Him and Keys, man, they be doing. They're doing great things actually over there. So if you don't know, now you know. Go over there and subscribe. So what up, Aramis? So we talked briefly today on the Bills offseason. Not too much, but not off to the greatest start with the bargain bin shopping for Brandon Beane this offseason. What's your thoughts on this offseason so far and the free agents? Because like last time I talked, we just signed Josh Palmer. So what's your thoughts since then?
This is probably one of the better crops of clearance rack players that we've gotten so far.
He's way at the end.
Yeah, the
95% the red sticker.
The red sticker, that's right.
The expiration date is like already passed. It's not even in a day or two.
Yeah, man. The moves make sense, obviously, because these are players that fill, positions that everybody would look at the roster and say you need this guy to fill this role, right? But when you look at the guys that they typically get in free agency, it's not the definitive, oh, this guy's coming in here to be a starter. It's either the guy that's past his prime that's coming in and hoping to rekindle something, or the guy that's coming here hoping to prove something and make a name for himself. And frankly, I'm tired of subjecting my quarterback to that. I want a guy that's going to come here and bring a name with him and bring in an expectation of a certain level of play with him to elevate what's going on with the Buffalo Bills and not force Josh to have to do it on his own.
Right. And when will we learn? Like, it's weird when it comes to that. Like, I was watching your show, your 5 hours podcast you just did. I was watching at least 2 hours of it earlier. And Keys brung up that he likes a certain style quarterback, sit back there and throw for 5,000 yards. And let's be real here. When it comes to Josh Allen, I made the point, I know you maybe missed it or whatever, but Josh Allen can be that. Listen, he's not a pure pocket passer, but he could definitely be a gunslinger if that's what you want.
If he had a better offensive line. Oops.
If the offensive line, I think the offensive line's getting there, Aramis. Okay. But let's be real. The weapons, they're subpar, right? And if you go back to Josh Allen, when he had, also coordinator Brian Dable, even Ken Dorsey his first year, they were throwing, right? Yeah. And he had Stephon Diggs, even, his first year with Stephon was with John Brown, Cole Beasley. Josh was putting up numbers. He was throwing it deep. We were a happy pass team. And I felt like Sean McDermott is the reason why that's all changed, buddy. Yeah. And you're not going to get that. And I feel like because that's the system they want now under Sean McDermott, which is more of a balanced team. Efficiency. He those are not the kind of players they're looking to get. That's why I feel like last year they passed up on all these receivers in the draft when there were so many to take. Yep. And they keep talking about we need speed. They understand overtime, but yet they don't address it. Right. They don't address it.
You know what the least efficient form of offense is? The offense that Brian Daboll ran. That's exactly why he's not here anymore. Sean McDermott wants these bigger receivers that are gonna, get contested catches. They're gonna run shorter routes. They definitely ran more of a West Coast type system last year, which deals a lot with attacking the underneath and attacking the seams with tight ends. If you look at what they've talked about doing with Kincaid, they want him to beef up and be more of a prototypical traditional style tight end, get better at blocking and have better playing strength and all that mess. All of this lends to, we don't want to go down the field. We want to be methodical on offense. We want to take our time, make efficient passes, don't turn the ball over. If I was so worried about turning the ball over, when I had an elite defense, it wouldn't make sense.
Right. And that's, what, spin coming, and we had the best offense in Bills history, and it wasn't enough. But what has failed this team, Spin? With that great offense, what really failed the team? The defense, which I keep going back to, and y'all don't want to listen. We're going on year 9 of Sean McDermott, who's a defensive-minded head coach, and we're still sitting here today saying we need this on defense, this on defense, this on defense, this on defense. We haven't year 9, guys, and we don't have a complete defense yet. Yep. It's crazy to me that this defense, guys, should be set in year 9. Nope. It's not like we've lost these major pieces to free agency. No, that's not the reason. Draft picks haven't worked out. Free agency hasn't worked out. The scheme doesn't work when it right, in the most important games. Right? Yep. So it's the defense for the most part. But going back to the offense, that doesn't mean now you just don't help out Josh and we're just good enough. Josh can work with what he has. Josh is the man. He'll figure it out. Guys, it's only going to take you so far, and it got us where it got us last year, and that was it. Here we are. So, going back on some of the free agents, and we were talking about Benford, and I want to get back to you, Jarek. James Cook, the James Cook situation. And of course, James Cook's doing the Stephon Diggs now, right? Which is so weird because he's such a quiet person. I didn't see this side of him, and I don't know if that's Dalvin and him kind of like just people in his ears whispering, hey, you need this is how things are done. I don't agree with it, but it is what I guess it's the new age. I guess certain people do that. But what do you feel about James Cook, Jarek? And do you think he's right on the 15, or do you think he's just starting high to, I guess, work the numbers?
He is not.
I'm sorry about the chat. I'm going to get to all y'all. Go ahead.
He is not a $15 million running back. I had to argue with a lot of Bills fans about it. I do believe that he is a $12 to $13 million running back. Again, I understand where James Cook is trying to come from. He's basing this off of projection. He's saying, listen, I've had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I had 16 rushing touchdowns, and I could have had a lot more on the goal line if they just would have given me more of an opportunity. Did you look at my playoff performances? I've done extremely well in the playoff performances last season. I was a key vital piece to the Bills offense. And the fact that I'm 25 years of age, I have never had over 300 carries in a season ever. I've had low mileage throughout my entire career, leading all the way back to when I was playing at Miami Central High School in Miami, Florida. Like I'm 25. I'm in the prime of my career. I deserve to get a 3-4 year contract, and I deserve to get $15 million. I understand exactly where he's coming from. However, though, and this is what I will say, if we're talking about his value about $15 million running backs, we have to take a look at Christian McCaffrey and now Saquon Barkley. Those are the only two running backs that are getting $15 million. James Cook is nowhere near that level. James Cook is a top running back at the football league. Some people may even argue he's top 5. I'm getting him $12 to $13 million. I'm willing to negotiate to get him 13. That's my maximum offer. And
I don't know if I'm giving him that.
Is ridiculous. I'll say this: $13 million puts him at top 5 territory.
That's
it actually puts him either 3rd or 4th in the National Football League in terms of per year contract. I would give him more of a 4-year contract, because if you give him the 3-year, it's you're leaning more towards guaranteed money, and so they're probably going to want to try to give him the 4-year. It doesn't matter anyway, because the closer you are to like a 4 to 5 year contract, it's really a 2 to 3 year contract. Players want extensions all the time, especially if their performances are continuing to transcend and go up. Like, expect Justin Jefferson about another year to look for to get more money compared to his original contract. So, but no, I'm not. If I'm Brandon Beane, no, I'm not paying him $15 million. I'm not doing that. Like, first of all, you got to be a 3-down back, and he's not a 3-down back. He's a 2-down back, and they take him off 3rd down to put Ty Johnson in the game, because Ty Johnson is a pass blocker. Ty Johnson is a better receiver than James Cook, even though James Cook is a pretty good receiving back as well. Ty Johnson's just more reliable in that particular aspect. Again, if James Cook was a 3-down back who
different story,
who does not lead the field, it's a different story. Now we could be in the conversation of $15 million, but he's not in that conversation. So James Cook has got to prove that he can be a 3-down net back in order for him to be in the conversation. But until then, James Cook is not going to get that money. And again, I have no idea how long they've been negotiating. Again, I doubt that James Cook, his agency, and his family would even know that what the Bills salary cap what the salary cap for the NFL would be. Obviously, we're going into the new year. There's rumors that they've been negotiating all season long. I highly doubt that. I think James Cook tried to make a move. He tried to make more of a marketing move to put pressure on the Bills to get him the money. And the Bills, but one thing we know about the organization is that if you test this organization, they don't play games. They already tried it with Stephon Diggs. That already went to hell. They're not trying to have a situation like that ever happen again. Christian Benford, you look at Terrell Bernard, you look at Gregory Rousseau. These are players that got paid without even saying a word. They didn't have to go on social media and do the things that they need, because all of a sudden now you're making a distraction. James Cook, like you said, Tommy, is a quiet guy. He does not he rarely talks to the media. I don't even know he can smile. Every single thing.
Remember when you drafted him, people thought
he doesn't smile. Like
he was pissed he got drafted.
No, that's just who he is.
Right. That's his right. I get it. Yeah.
Right. So when you say that you don't want to be a distraction, But yet you're going on all these social media platforms. You're going on the Shannon Sharp podcast, and all these people are asking these questions about the Buffalo Bills. It's like, yeah, you put the Bills in that. You should have never even said anything in the first place. That should have been closed behind doors. Again, I get what he was trying to do, but it should have been closed behind doors. It should have been between him, his agency, his family, and the Buffalo Bills organization. Not make it loud on social media to even hint that there could be I don't think that there is a problem, but the fact that you gave fans even a hint that there could be a problem, that's a distraction of itself. So to me, I don't think James Cook I don't think he's going to get paid this offseason. I'm sorry. If they
I don't think
this offseason, it will not be $15 million. It would be 12 to 13. He won't get that contract. And now my question is if he's willing to now kind of go out and say the things that he's willing to do, is he willing to hold out? Because people don't want to have that conversation. People want to say, well, no, there's no way because he's getting paid $2 or $3 million. He's getting paid this money. He doesn't have this amount of leverage. We've seen, how many players have we seen talk up and try to hold out and cause more of a bigger distraction to the organization?
Absolutely. Happens all the time. Yeah.
Tom, and just real quick before I pass it on.
Yeah, go ahead.
People, this is not personal. This is a business. This is what people have to understand. These players are going to do whatever it takes to get paid. And if they have to hold out, knowing that Ty Johnson and Ray Davis are the next two guys involved, if I'm James Cook for the most part, I'm thinking that's my thought process. If you don't value me that much, then maybe you'll just value Ty Davis and you'll Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. Maybe you'll value them that much. See how much better off you are with them compared to me. Like this is a business. This is nothing personal. So we'll see what happens, man. But I'm thinking about all the other different situations that's kind of going on. And the fact of the matter is that James Cook has made it loud and clear. He wants that $15 million. He's not budging.
Yeah. Daniel coming in, typically when a DC is hired as head coach, the defense is the first thing that gets fixed. But with McDermott, we are still waiting on it. And we might continue to wait on it. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Look, man, here's my deal. He's definitely not worth 15. Let's be real. Like, he's not a top 5 running back. He's a good running back. He's young. Like, there's positive things, obviously, with him, right? He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He had 20 touchdowns last year. He's gotten better through the years. So there's last 2 seasons, he's getting better. He's taken that next step forward. But, bro, let's be real. Go back and look at the running backs, like just the contracts in NFL kind of history. A lot of them don't work out, right? They backfire. A lot of them. And I'm not saying that goes for everyone, but if you're going to pay a running back that kind of money, boy, you better be right. And I'm not totally sold that James Cook is worth that much money, and I'm not risking that when you can go through the draft and get yourself another running back, which they've been doing, okay? Let's be real. That's what they've been doing since Bean's been here and McDermott, right? They let go of they got rid of Shady, and they've been playing the running back. They've been just swapping running backs throughout the drafts. That's what they've been doing. So I'm not saying don't pay Cook, but there has to be like a set price that I think Bean has in his head, and I think Bean's going to stick with. And listen, Bean's first to tell you, man, go test out the market. But if he's willing to sit out, if he's really willing to do that, and I feel like if Bean feels like that's going to be a thing, trade his ass. Trade him.
Trade him for the draft.
Trade him and get what you can.
I got
go for it. Yeah, go for it, Aaron.
So here's my pushback. James Cook is one of 3 playmakers, quite possibly on the entire team.
On offense, you're saying, or just on the offense, or
entire team,
in general,
Josh Allen,
playmakers. Okay,
Khalil Shakir, and James Cook. Who's a playmaker on defense right now?
On defense,
Benford.
I would say, Benford. Yeah,
Benford. What do you mean?
When healthy, he's a top. He's one of the better.
Show me one interception from Christian Benford where the quarterback didn't overthrow the ball or throw the ball.
I mean, he doesn't have to make plays on the ball when you're shutting down one side of the field. That's
what Trey did, Aramis. He didn't get a lot of interceptions.
One side of the field down. They're not going after Christian Benford. They're going after CB2. They're going after Teron Johnson.
That is true.
Attacking the middle, which the Bills defense. It's designed for you to attack the weak point, which is the middle. That's why you have Milano and you have Bernard, because they're rangy linebackers who can cover ground 10, 15 yards from the church intermediate.
If we're talking about Benford's performance against mediocre teams, fine. Our division is full of them. So is our conference up until last year. Am I wrong? Who are the quarterbacks we played against?
The conference is terrible. Yeah, the conference is bad.
I mean, name one good. That's my point. So if we're even
against the good teams, did they attack Christian Benford? Because Christian Benford, literally by his grade, he's a top 10 corner. He's a shutdown corner.
I get it.
It's a lockdown.
I understand
corner. That. But I get where Aramis is going. Aramis is saying he's not a play. He's not setting. You're saying plays.
He's not going to get you like 5, 6,
like turnovers and right.
That to me is a playmaker. If defensively you're
that's fair.
Telling the quarterback don't throw it over here, and he doesn't test you and doesn't throw it over there. Okay, cool. That just means you got another weak spot on the defense that he can go to. That's easier for him.
Right.
No disrespect to Benford.
Then we can argue. Then definitely Bernard. Bernard.
Okay, I'll give
That's
you.
True.
I will give you Bernard before I give you Benford. I agree on that.
Yeah.
So my point is this, though: when you look at James Cook's impact in big time moments, first and foremost, this team has had big time moments because of James Cook, right? So when I'm looking at the players that I want to pay, and I'm also taking into consideration the type of culture that I'm trying to establish in the locker room, which is we reward our guys that go out here and make plays and do well and do what we ask them to do and don't make noise. James Cook has not made noise the entire time he was here until this year, after he's earned it for the last 2. So if I'm looking at what I want to pay him, I'm probably thinking we can get him for 11. I think we can get him for 11. If we can get Rousseau for 13.5, we can get Cook for 11.
I don't
you can throw incentives in there and make it 13 if you want.
Exactly.
Give him 11 guaranteed. Give him a max of 13 with certain incentives or whatever. But the bottom line of it is you cannot go into next season having this holier than thou mindset that we're not going to pay one of our playmakers because he wants too much money. You don't have anybody else. And if you keep adopting this mindset of we're not going to pay this guy because he asked for it, we're not going to pay this guy because he made too much noise about it, we're not going to pay this guy because you didn't just sit down and shut up. You know who doesn't sit down and shut up? Playmakers. They demand the ball and they demand their money. That's the bottom line of it. When you're talking about NFL guys that have gone their whole entire career getting what they want just handed to them, and then they get to the NFL where they got to earn it, and then they do, man, you got to pay those guys. You have
to. But you said around 11, right?
Yeah.
He's asking 15. What if he doesn't want 11? What if he wants 13.5? What if he's stuck on the number? Now I doubt it. Like most players are going to work with the team, exactly. Right? I assume he started high for a reason. Going
from 5 to whatever the new number.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's also you have to, like I said though, at the same time. Running backs are one of those things, man. I think it's not just our team. I think it's a league thing. The best of the best get paid. The top, right? I'm just saying, and I'm not.
Here's the thing about Cook that people. Here's the thing about Cook that people don't realize.
Yeah.
He actually has the best pass blocking percentage of all the running backs on the team. Like nobody talks about that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy 40 Keys for bringing that out. But
he doesn't, though, Aaron. He doesn't. I've seen him. He's not.
Okay. You're saying that based on tape. You're saying that based on tape.
Based on me, my own eyes.
The numbers and the metrics say he's the best pass blocking running back on the team by pass block percentage. His pass block rating is better than all the other running backs on the team. You don't have to agree with me. I
get it. I get it, but
that's fine. But
I don't believe that.
He's not a 3-down. There's a reason why they don't put him on third down situations on pass.
Okay, so my contention to that point. My contention to that point is this: Cook is not being used the way Cook should be used on third down. You don't take a pass catching running back and hold him into pass block on third down. If you need that in your offense, which the Buffalo Bills don't, because Josh Allen is the least sacked quarterback in the last 5 years, right? Even with the offensive line getting better, he's still the least sacked quarterback in the last 5 years. So you actually don't need a pass blocking running back there. You could benefit a little bit more from having a pass receiving running back that can run some routes out there and challenge some linebackers and get another guy off of Josh Allen. So I think a lot of that has to do with Cook's usage. They don't, because they're in this efficiency mode where they're trying to run all of the most traditionalist, West Coast schemes and philosophies and stuff like that. They're going to put James Cook into this box of you have to be a good pass blocker. You have to, stand in there and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's not his game. And that's part of the problem I've had with pretty much all the guys that we've drafted. We put them in bad positions to not be successful because they're asked to do things that they didn't even do in college. Like, nobody asked James Cook to be a pass blocker in college. They did ask him to go out and catch passes, and he did that. So why not take him away from pass blocking, run a route?
This is what we talk about.
Go back to Georgia, though, Aramis. He wasn't even used. He had like very, very minimal carries in college. He was
the third
right. I would say
I get it.
Yeah. So there's a reason.
We can't go based off of that.
No. I'm just saying. But you said he's okay. So he's gotten better over the last 2 years, right? We all can agree on that. And there's no doubt, right? Yep. His rookie year, he didn't start. He started, but he was back up to Devin Singletary. Okay, Devin Singletary. Y'all remember that Devin Singletary had 8-something that year on a bad offensive line. We finally addressed the offensive line, and we changed our offensive coordinator where it was more balanced. Pretty much. This is the first time over the last 2 seasons we've been kind of balanced on offense. And that is helping James Cook. It's making James Cook better as far as stats go, carries go. The offensive line's giving him more holes to run through. When James Cook missed time this year, Ray Davis stepped in and did very well. Over 100 yards, same with passing in the passing game. I'm not saying Ray Davis is better than James Cook, but are you telling me that Ray Davis couldn't be effective with that offensive line and the balanced offense that we have going? Well, I'm not saying he beats James Cook. He doesn't have. I know that he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the big home, right. He doesn't have that big playmaker ability, but he did have some pop-offs last year.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like this is a slow Ray Davis. He has a little bit of speed, not James Cook speed. Okay. But my point is this: I think James Cook. I think he's worth between, I would say, 10 and 11, and I would be fine with that. But for him to consider himself at that high of a value would be saying he feels like he is a top 3 running back in this league, where I don't feel that way. And I don't think Brandon Beane feels that way. And I don't think Brandon Beane felt that way with Tremaine Edmonds. And that's why he let him walk, because he wasn't going to pay what the Bears paid at a linebacker position that he got paid. And good for Tremaine Edmonds. And I like Tremaine Edmonds. No, I'm just saying there's certain guys that he wasn't going to, he had a mark. He had a scale at. I'm going to pay this one. This is where I'm at with you. Okay. And I feel like most of the players that we've extended have all been, I'm not saying team friendly, but kind of, right? Jarek was right. Right. But if you look at a lot of the guys that have come back, a lot of them haven't worked out, team friendly or not. Matt Milano's been did not work out. Trey White did not work out. There's a lot of guys that got extended that have not really lived up. AJ Epinesa re-signed. He didn't work out last year. Matter of fact, he took a step backwards. There's a lot of guys that regressed or got injured, and we'll see what happens with the new guys. I'm just saying, but it's like, put it this way. What player have we extended? I'm just going to throw this out there. Has lived up to his extension.
Okay. So I'm gonna hit you with what every fan has said. Well, now I can't say every fan, but there have been a large contingent of fans that have argued with me about the Sean McDermott point, because that basically,
Alan, you're right. Spin's right. Josh Allen, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
And I'm kind of agreeing with Whittle on the Milano point. I mean, Milano's just been hurt. That's the only way it hasn't worked out.
I know, but
he's still worth the money.
You have to throw that in.
Yeah, but again, what we're talking about here is being paid for the production that they put on tape and paper, right?
I get it.
What is saying is, like you said, 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. We don't have running backs just come in here like that with very little work in college to show that they can do that and then do that in our offense. Singletary didn't even do it. So when I'm looking at what James Cook offers in terms of playmaking ability, burst, hands, and all these other different aspects that he can bring to an offense, that's a playmaker at running back. I will pay a playmaker even if it means I have to sacrifice at another position, right? Because let's face it, I mean, Khalil Shakir was not used as a playmaker last year. Part of it was he was hurt, but he wasn't used as the guy that we can go to, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't, he didn't have 1,000 yards, right? In this everybody eats offense, you got a guy like James Cook that goes out there and puts up 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns, or whatever yardage he had from scrimmage. But that's a guy that you pay. You have to send a message to the locker room, especially on offense. If you come in here and do well and you show that you're a playmaker, you're going to get the bag. If you don't do this now, when are you going to do it? Because there's nobody else on this team that's going to step up like that.
But as Brandon Beane, let's be real, Brandon Beane, since he's been here as GM, he is, for the most part, he's paid his players. He has paid his players. So that's what I'm saying. So my whole thing on James Cook is I'm not even mad about him wanting to get paid. Like, it's okay. Like, I get it. Like, every rookie contract comes up that, like, it's your dream to get paid. That's the way. It's a rough sport. I get it. And normally these guys, running backs, they have a shelf life. Let's be real. They do. I get it. This could be it for him, right? One more contract, and who knows where it goes from there for a running back. But we'll see. Like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like Brandon Beane has paid this. He's done his players right. The guys that he's drafted, for the most part, he's done them right. I just don't know if he's going about it the right way by doing what he's doing. And I don't know if that's something that Brandon Beane is going, here we go again. You know what I mean? With the distraction. And it is, because we're talking about it. If we're talking about it, he knows it. He hears it. He sees it. He you know what I mean? And like, I just don't understand why players don't have their agents take care of business, and that's it. Just chill out, man. It's offseason. You don't need to, chime in. Like, it just doesn't I don't get it. And now here we're talking, because I promise you this, if James Cook would have got extended for whatever, 11.5, 12, we would have been like, oh yeah, cool, great, right? Like, no, like nobody would be like, oh, what's it worth? Like, now we're talking because he's 15. He's doing these, these things on X and on Instagram, erasing the Bills. Like, so now we're talking, and here we are. But
I mean,
at the end of the day,
part of it is what did you expect him to ask for? You know what I'm saying? Did you expect him to ask for?
You don't know. It's a negotiation tactic. Again,
no, you can ask for $100 million. I don't.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
The problem is though, like, you keep that, like, you don't have to, because again, he didn't mean it to be a distraction. I believe that, but you have made it. But now you have made it a distraction, because now it's like everyone is now contacting you, trying to get you on social media platforms, and they're asking you straight up, what is your deal with you and the Buffalo Bills? We thought you were good. So you have now made it a distraction for the Buffalo Bills, for Brandon Beane to even get, like, for him to even get asked that particular question about what's going on with you and James Cook. Like, don't worry, don't worry about it. We understand. I can tell, like, right off the gate that, like, Brandon Beane was like, yeah, I would rather him not to say it, but he said it. It is what it is. They're going to get this thing done. I have no doubt about it. I think
so too.
$4 million. I think they're going to give him anywhere from 12 anywhere as high as $13 million. I really think he should get 11, because I don't think that he is. I don't think he should get top 5 or top 3 money. But I understand it, because again, it's projection. It's the fact that he has very low mileage, and again, you, like, his skill set is special. Like, the dude has phenomenal vision.
Yeah.
His speed, he's a home run threat, explosive, quick feet, lateral agility, and his play strength has gotten way better.
Absolutely. Dude, Jarek, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely.
Right.
Like, that's one thing I noticed last year from the year before for James Cook, like that. I was like, okay, because I wasn't sold on James Cook going into last season. I thought he was a good running back. I didn't think, I thought he, I thought he benefited a little bit from the O-line the year before. You know, I didn't think it was a spectacular year, but it was good. But I felt like last year, running between the tackles, way better. Contact balance, way better. Got stronger. You know, I want to see a little bit more pass catching because that's why we drafted him. I want to see him get a little bit better at that. Still had a case of the dropsies a little bit. But I thought he definitely took a big step forward. Like I always look at players like what they do, how they progress, right? A step forward, a big step forward. Like, and I felt like, man, we haven't had a lot of players that we drafted take big steps forward. They've taken baby steps, right? Like I feel like Gregory Rousseau is one of those players. Like he's taking a step forward, but not a leap, right? He hasn't taken a huge step forward. He's getting there. And I feel like the contract was worth it because he's young. I still feel like he hasn't reached a ceiling, but we're still waiting for that big step forward. Right. And Oliver, even, I really haven't. I mean, I love him. I like him, but he has to have help next to him for him to really flourish. And he hasn't really taken a huge step forward either. He's taken steps forward.
Well, him and Rousseau need other players on the other
exactly
side.
Exactly. I feel like you know, Khalil Shakir took a big step forward. I do. Mm-hmm. Like I think he's one of those guys that he took a big step forward. I think, and then you got players that take steps back. AJ Klein. I'm not AJ Klein. Fucking AJ Klein. Look at that guy's in my fucking head. Get out of here, Klein. Get out of here. Epinesi. Yes. He took a step back, right? So, you know, it's just like, we're waiting on these players. You know, our tight end, Dalton Kincaid, I felt like he didn't take any steps. You know, I don't think he took a step back, but he didn't take a step forward. He might have took a step back. I don't. You know, what do you feel about that? I'll go start with you, Jarek, about Kincaid. Like, what's going on there? Like, what do we do with him?
You know what? And Whittle, and I see Whittle's in chat. He'll tell you personally. But I got it from him, man.
What up, Scott?
Like we did not like Kincaid. I know for me, like we had the reaction right on the show about Kincaid getting drafted, and I see Tommy and Mikey were Tommy. I forgot what your reaction was. I know Mikey.
Oh, dude, when we first, I was pissed, dude.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, because again, the reason why you drafted a tight end is because you want to satisfy Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey wanted to run a lot of 12 personnel, running the football, and I still think McDermott had played a hand in it. I just think
absolutely he did. Go from year one, Jarek. Ken Dorsey, that offense to year two under Ken Dorsey, totally changed. I felt like they had that meeting in the offseason. And he told Ken Dorsey, yo, Rook, offensive coordinator. Exactly. That shit we did last year, it ain't flying, pal. We're doing it old school, baby. And it backfired on Ken. It got him fired, ultimately. He wasn't that terrible. But go ahead, sorry.
But no. But my problem with Kincaid, like you drafted the wrong type of tight end that fits your 12 personnel. And I get it. Dawson Knox was supposed to be the blocking tight end. He's supposed to be the end line guy. While Kincaid can place him in line, but he was supposed to be more of your hybrid player who can play in the slot, who had some capability playing out wide. But he was your short to intermediate guy. He was not a deep threat. That's Dawson Knox. He's an end line guy that's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, but can absolutely tear up anybody in the seam. He's your deep threat sort of playmaker who understands how to track the football extremely well, has strong hands. And Kincaid's just not that player. He's a short to intermediate guy that understands zone spacing. That's what he is. And so we drafted the wrong type of archetype while you had Sam Laporta, who actually came from a 12 personnel system in Iowa, who is known for producing elite level tight ends. They're literally a tight end factory. They're one of the best tight end coaches in college football, maybe in football history. And you don't draft a guy in Sam Laporta who's not only good to short intermediate space, but also was a pretty good deep threat at the tight end position for receiver. Hell, you could have went with the I forgot his name, the Oregon State tight end who was a 4.55. He's with the Packers, but he was more of an athlete. You could have drafted him, and yes, he's not the smoothest route runner. He's not a guy that's going to be great in the short to intermediate zone. He's not great in zone spacing, but he's a deep threat tight end like how Green Bay uses him. So that's kind of my biggest issue with Kincaid is that he can block. He doesn't have strong hands. He's not great at the contested catch point. He's only he's limited at a few things that he is. Again, he's really good at. There's a reason why his rookie season he had over 70 catches for 700 for like 600 yards. There's a reason why. But in terms of the value of the pick for the first round, it didn't make any sense to draft, especially because you traded up for him. It just didn't make any sense to draft a player like Kincaid that does not fit the system that you wanted to have. And so we're starting to see now that, yeah, Dawson Knox, did he get a little overpaid? Yes, in terms of his contract, even though that 2021 year, he led the league in touchdowns because he showed how good
he did a good year.
Yeah,
did a good season. Yeah.
And he had like 600 yards receiving. He had like 12 receiving touchdowns that season for the regular season. But we're now starting to see why Dawson Knox got that contract and why Kincaid may be even traded potentially, because Knox as a blocker and simply just as a inline tight end, he's just better. He the continuity between him and Josh Allen, they just have a connection that Josh Kincaid just can't grasp. And he can block, which we're starting to lean more towards, especially with James Cook and Ty Johnson and Ray Davis getting a lot of the share and getting a lot of the bulk of the carries with our offensive line, starting to become a lot more elite in that area. So the more and more Dawson plays, the less snaps Kincaid gets, because we're not running as much 12 compared to we run in the past. So that's my biggest issue is that once again we drafted a project player early in the first round, and we tried to force him into a system that we know clearly he doesn't fit, but we're going to force him there anyway. And now, once again, it's going to continue to backfire on us. Obviously, it's year 3, and they're going to build weight. They're going to get some muscle on him, get some weight on him, and see if he can become a better blocker. If this doesn't work out, though, I think the Bills should consider trading him, because he's not going to fit. If he's not going to fit now, it's not going to happen.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up, because King Aramis, I think last year we were doing a show. I think it was pregame. And he brung it up as a hot take. Everyone was like, "What? How dare you talk about Kincaid?" And I was on the fence. I was like, because I always like to hear, both sides of things. So, I'm leaning towards more and more. Get what you can. Because I feel like we failed on the Elam. Now I'm shocked, by the way, real quick. I'm shocked we even got a 5th. I am shocked. Because I felt like we weren't going to get anything. He was going to wind up getting cut. So Bean is good at that, by the way. Bean somehow figures a way to wind up getting something for players he's going to wind up cutting. Because I'm telling you now, Elam was not going to make the team. But he might have got more if he just moved on from Elam way earlier, when people were still looking at him as, hey, he's a first-round pick. Okay, maybe there's some potential there. Same with Kincaid. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it while he's still a little hot still, right? Okay, first-round pick. And you know what? Kincaid may flourish somewhere else. He may flourish in a different offensive system, and he probably would, depending on the system he goes to.
Yep.
But it ain't going to happen. It doesn't seem like, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen here, but right now it doesn't seem like it could happen, right? It just not in this offense that we're running. It just doesn't seem like it fits for him. Just like a lot of players on this team. I got to be real with you. They're not fitting in with the system. But what's your thoughts, Aramis, on the Kincaid? And then we'll move on.
I thought it was a ridiculous pick when they traded up 2 spots just to get him, and then labeled him a pass catcher just to appease everyone who thought we needed a wide receiver.
Right.
Look, even if he was supposed to come in and play in a 12 system, the way that they used him when Dawson Knox got hurt, you could tell that they thought they were on to something. The issue came into play when they went into last year, and they decided, this year, and they decided we're not going to use you that way. Like, right. I don't care what you did during that stretch where people were saying you were finally starting to live up to your potential, and you were
high expectations.
We're not going to use you like that, right? And right. Like all of this, like. I'm sorry, Jarek is that his name?
Jarek.
Yeah, great point when you were talking about players being brought here and put out of position. But I started to think about this after the show, and the conclusion I came to is, unfortunately, we're in a situation where this is going to sound like a hot take, but it's really not a hot take. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott equals Jerry Jones. Because when you look at his level of stubborn in terms of, yeah, the best guys are out there, but I want to get the guys that fit me, that are going to come in here and do what I want them to do.
Right.
That's how Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott treat players. Yeah, you got the elite playmakers out there, but I want to get guys that are going to come in here and do what I want them to do. And you can't get the best of the best that are willing to come in here and all be submissive and never speak up about the offensive scheme and never speak up about their role in the offense. I mean, the two best players that we've had here in the entire time that Sean McDermott has been here as coach and Brandon Beane has been here as GM is LaShawn McCoy and Stephon Diggs, aside from Josh Allen, I mean, right?
Right.
And both of those guys spoke up or, in a sense, talked back to Sean McDermott. Where are they now? Not here. They were gone a year after that happened. So it really comes down to how realistically how long we all let this go on for, because this isn't going to stop.
The Bagulas, you mean?
Yeah. We can put pressure on the owner, but realistically, the way that they pick their draft picks, there's no indication that this is going to change.
Let me ask you this then, since we're on this kind of talking point about them. You think it's them combined, meaning, let's say, or if McDermott were to go, do you think Beane would then be, doing things a little bit differently? You get what I'm saying there? Do you think it's more McDermott? Because you got to remember, McDermott came before Beane. I mean, in reality, McDermott brung Beane to Buffalo.
100%.
So, 100%. I mean, who's really kind of pulling the strings? I know Beane's the GM. But at the end of the day, I almost feel like this is a McDermott ran team more than a Beane ran team. So I just feel that way. I could be wrong, but it seems like all the moves we make, and I get that. You got to center around your coaching and what his, what he like. I understand that point, but it also hasn't worked out.
This is going to sound really crazy. This is going to sound really crazy.
I mean, it's done okay, but it's not gotten us to where we want, is what I'm saying. So don't freak out, chat, because I know the chat's going to go, we've been winning, we're a winning team, we've gone to the playoffs every year,
right?
Blah, 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 blah. But that's not the ultimate goal. Is the ultimate goal.
Though. It doesn't equal
right. After year, to me, guys, after year 3, 4, I was like, okay, like we're good. I'm past that stage now. I want better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like this has been fun, but now I want the title, right? Like that as a fan. And I keep telling you guys, like, you guys have these low, I'm not saying all y'all, but it's almost like low expectations. Like, hey, playoffs. Hey, we made playoffs. We're a good playoff team. It's like, bro, guys, yes, we're a playoff team. We're playoffs, and we're going to be next year. Probably going to be the next year that after. But is that the ultimate goal? Like, is that what we're going after? It's a Super Bowl. Like, come on. Go ahead.
So check this out. It's not going to matter if Beane is here or not. If we get rid of both of them, let's say we get rid of both of them and we keep our scouts, we'll be fine. Because the way that the way that it was explained from a scout who used to work for the Bills, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have a scouting report that they go through for the first and second round picks. They, and namely Beane, is the guy who determines the first and second round picks along with input from Sean McDermott. So they look through the scouting reports, then they kind of go back and look at tape and they form their own list of guys that they want to go after. Now that list may not necessarily line up with what the scouts think should be had at, pick 35 or 30 or whatever, right? But they have the guy that they like from that list that they've created from the scouting reports, which is at this point not advisable, but that's how they do it. And then the later picks from 3 on are all based on the scouting reports, specifically from the scouts in terms of best bang for pick. And that's why all of the later picks typically work out more so than the first couple of picks, because the first couple of picks are determined by, specifically, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. And they don't rely on the scouts' specific information of where a guy's real value is in that round or anything like that. So when you take that into consideration, you can easily just remove those guys and keep the scouts that you have, and you should be okay. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy, but realistically, when you look at how well we've done in the later rounds just from the scouts, we'd be fine.
You're right. You are right there. We have hit more often in the mid to late rounds in these drafts for sure, 100%. But I still think Bean's a good GM. I think Bean knows how to work the cap well. I think Bean knows, for the most part,
he's just
his contracts. I get that, but I feel like the positives with Bean, right?
Okay.
I feel like the contracts. I feel like down to earth GM. Like he doesn't like. Good talker. I feel like some of the signings have been fine as far as bringing back some of the extensions, fair deals. He's gotten players to come in friendly contracts. He's hit on some of the 1 year guys. I mean, let's be real, like Leonard Floyd, right? That was a steal, and he worked out that 1 year. Like he's for the bargain bin shopping. His so far, except for this year, and we'll see what happens because we're not in the season yet, but it's kind of worked out a little bit. But I almost feel like he is looking way too ahead in the future, and he's trying to set this team up, and that's been his goal. And he said it outright, like he doesn't want to go all out because he wants to look for the outlook of this team, but it's not really working, right? We're going in year 9. Josh is getting older. He's still in his prime, but there's going to come a time where you have to start. For me, you can't keep bargain bin shopping. You have to take chances. You have to take higher risk to get the reward. Like you have to. And I feel like all these little these contracts he's getting, right? They're not cheap either. And they're adding up. And these are players that are here for a year or two and gone, or we wind up releasing. It's just wasted money when you could have used the money, traded for a Trey Hendrickson, and just said, fuck it. We're going to give him the contract instead of giving these two guys 30 combined. We'll just throw it on one player who we know for a fucking fact, young, stats are show, sack exactly what we need. But no, we want to compile a bunch of players and we'll see who works out. Last year MVS cut, losing money, throwing money out in the wind. That's the part I don't like about what Brandon Beane does with the bargain. And I get the cap is real, guys, but it could be worked. It always is. And every GM knows how to work a cap. They all do. You want a player, you can go get it done. Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
They just signed both their players. And then, no problem.
Done deal.
Highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. And the highest paid, I think they said the highest second receiver, number 2 in the NFL. No problem. Oh, okay. Burrow, you need your weapons. We got you. No problem. We'll figure out the cap. I get the Bengals aren't
going to go through hell like that. Defense,
no, I get it, but in time, but that's where you draft. Like they set up their future success at offense, right? Mm-hmm. Now you got to work. Now you draft your. I feel like that's fine. I feel like if they can get that right, that's a tough team. And by the way, they went to a Super Bowl. I'm still waiting for that, guys. They went. We can talk all the shit we want about the Bengals, the slow starts, and this. They went to a Super Bowl. They kicked our ass at home.
They did, but look at
a shitty offensive line.
Look at the free agents that they signed defensively that helped them, like Trey Hendrickson and getting what's his name, that's now at the fall. Like getting BJ Hill, and I forgot the guy that's with the Lions who's now I forgot his name is, but they signed valuable key players in their defense that that got them over the point. Not to mention too, like with T and them, like they were all on rookie contracts and stuff like that. The Bengals they literally have to build through the draft defensively. They have no choice because even if you pay Trey Hendrickson the contract that he wants, you are paying 4 players high of the highest premium contracts. It does not.
Aren't we doing the same thing?
We're not
no, but I'm saying, what if we have done it? I'm saying, what have we done? That's just like they could at least go, hey, we got the fucking one of the best receiver. We got one of the best receivers that we spent some money, but look what we got. Right? Yeah. Okay, we'll build the draft. What if we we're in salary cap? like to Aaron's point, where's our playmakers? He just named 3 of them: James Cook, Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir.
It's not going to be like that.
Yes, Bernard. But it should be way more with the cap we're in, right? Like we should have some hella studs on this team for being in this cap nightmare kind of that we don't have a lot of money spent. Why? What's going on here? Because
I'm gonna tell you where it messed up, but we never really recovered from. It was 2019 through 22. It messed everything up because it was 2019. We had Cole Beasley, we had John Brown. You also paid, who was the player who was the edge rusher? Like you got all these edge rushers. You drafted edge rushers like Rousseau and Basham and Epinesa. You look at the early rounds in Kiara Elam and Dalton Kincaid. We have not addressed we haven't addressed one tech. Which, if you're going to be running a nickel defense, how in the hell do you not address one tech? Like we have key particular players. We have failed to address replacing Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, even when they were getting hurt, even when we knew that their time was coming up. We missed out on Brian Branch. You could have took Brian Branch in the first round instead of you could have took Brian Branch, and now you have finally got that replacement. But instead, we have ignored particular positions in late round situations. Even though we've drafted well, we have ignored particular positions that are key for making the team going over the top. So I mean, I agree with you. We have not got we tried. Like they tried to get certain players by getting the one key player in Diggs, extending him. But we've never had another key playmaker like the best.
That is true, right? That's a great, bro. By the way, that's a great point that you made with Diggs too. Like Brandon Beane. Let me tell you guys something too about like money. Like when we were on the James Cook thing, Stephon Diggs is a perfect example. Stephon Diggs came here, he put up numbers, and he got paid. Even Brandon Beane, right? Brandon Beane, he didn't give him a hard time. He paid him, right? He paid his value. Now it backfired because of certain other things, had nothing to do with money. But my point is Brandon Beane will figure it out with James Cook. Like, you know what I mean? He'll pay what he feels like. He'll pay his playmakers. I just don't know if he's going to go overboard and overpay. That's my point. And I think where Cook's at is a little bit over. But yeah, look, man, my whole point was this, man. I feel like we've been trying to go through the draft to build our defense. It's failed. Our free agency, we haven't done anything over the last 2 seasons that's really helped Josh Allen on offense, except for pick up players on 1-year deals, and they're here and gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, same with defense. And we're picking up guys like Leonard Floyd, who was great 1 year, but that was it. He was gone. 1 year, done. So even if we get lucky, let's say this guy Hoyt works out, which, by the way, we haven't even talked about that. But let's say he provides something when he he's on. What was he? A 2-year deal, 3-year deal? What was his deal? What was his contract? Do you recall his contract on his deal? Let me see here. Let me see if I have his
contract.
Yeah, Hoyt, the guy that
3 year.
The guy, 3-year deal. Okay.
See, to me, that's a signing that I get what they were trying to do. They wanted him to basically be like a Lorenzo Alexander on the team,
right? Because he's like a unicorn, right? I get that.
That's the he's okay. Like he is okay. He's not great at any particular situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. He's good at right.
Address one tech. How do you run a nickel defense and you don't have the big dude in the middle that can, especially when you have an undersized defensive tackle in Ed Oliver, the blunt of the double teams, and you don't have that space eater, an athletic space eater who has pass rushing upside, who's 25, and you are afraid to overpay him when he got paid the exact same contract like Michael Hoyt.
Yeah,
I get it. Him. And now we don't have to
talk about
Kenny Grant in the draft.
Right, exactly. I agree. And like I said, man, not only that, we signed 2 guys that are going to miss 6 games a piece.
Yeah.
Guys, 6 games, not to mention the rust when they're not going to return week 7. It's not happening. Like, it's going to take a while for them, not a while, but to get back into NFL game shape. It's just the way it works. No player just jumps right into after being suspended that many games and goes all out and balls out. It doesn't work that way. So we're missing all this time from guys that we're paying decent. These aren't cheapy contracts. They're decent contracts, and we're not getting any value from them for most of the season. I got to say, it's going to be most of the season. It's a waste of signing. And I know Brandon Beane, I think they said he knew about one of them. Even that, why? Like, was that player even work? Right? What was it? Listen, if it was like a high, like a high profile player, like a guy, hey, we can't miss out on this guy. He's suspended 6 games, or he's hurt. He's going to be hurt. Fine, you take that gamble. I get it. Right? You do that in the draft. The Lions drafted the receiver out of Alabama. I forget his name.
Jameson Williams.
Right? They took the chance. They knew he was going to be out for a year. I get that part, but they saw the upside. Neither of these guys are home run free agent signings that are going to miss some 6 games, and you're like, all right, fuck it, it's worth the gamble, right? Who can, like, I just don't understand that. I don't get it. So far, I got to say, this has been, in my opinion, so far, the worst free agent signings since being, in my opinion. It's up there. I'm not saying they, and by the way, they haven't been all that great anyways. Right? I mean, I'm just saying, like John Brown, I would say the best free agent signings was the John Brown, Cole Beasley, when we got them, because that kind of helped out Josh Allen's career. That was big. We traded for Diggs, so I'm not going to even count that. I'm talking about free agents. Like, what free agents really stayed here and put a stamp on this team that Bean nailed on? I would say Cole Beasley and John Brown, because they were here at least, 2-3 years? Were they at least 2 years, right, for John Brown, 3 or 4 for Cole Beasley, where they put up production.
Mitch Morse was the center.
Mitch Morse, I'm sorry, you're right. Mitch Morse was productive, but I mean, that was a while ago. What free agent have we signed that's really stood out and that's made an impact? I mean, it's been a while. It's been a long time. Leonard Floyd, but I can't count that because it's been 1 year. I'm talking about a guy for more than, that's been on the team for 2-3 years. That was a good signing. Like Curtis, let's just go back last year. Curtis Samuel, as of right now, bad signing. As of right now. Now, that could change, but right now, bad signing. MVS, clearly bad signing. The safety from KC, clearly bad signing, not on the team. Who else did we get last year? Okay. Matt Collins was good, but he's gone. It's gone. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? Like, these one and done bargain bin. McGovern. That's a good one. McGovern, you're right. So that is a good one. McGovern has worked out. Thank you. Taylor Rapp. I would say that's I'm on the fence with Rapp, Spin. I gotta be honest. What's your thoughts on Rapp? Listen, I like him. High motor guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I like Rapp. I think
can't stay healthy though. That's
again, like he's a high effort player.
Yes,
that you can put he's
high
a guy
employer.
That can slide in the box.
But that was
he's going to make statements. He's a guy that for the most part you can play him in a different set of coverages, and he does have he has showcased a lot more range to play. I think he's shown a lot more instinctual, be a lot more instinctual than I think we thought he could be. But like you just said, he can't stay healthy. Like he has a concussion. Like I'm serious when I say he may be a concussion or 2 away from his football career being over. Like he scares me to death.
Absolutely.
Quite honestly, but again, the problem is that who's behind him, and so that's why you bring back a DeMar Hamlin, because you need the depth.
Yeah,
you can't trust Rapp to stay healthy, and so this is why when people are mocking safety to us and people are getting angry about it, it's like, well, can you really blame the Buffalo Bills for doing that? Because Cole Bishop, who I think Cole Bishop's gonna start. I think Cole Bishop's gonna be a solid starter, but he still is very, very young. And he's gonna be playing more in the box anyway. Rapp is gonna be more of your free safety. So who's gonna be right? Who's gonna be there for him? I don't know. Like it's again, we on so many little details throughout the drafting and free agency process that yes, even though we've been a great team, obviously for winning 11, 12 games, we have not addressed the key pivotal issues that we've ignored it for 3-4 years. We've ignored it for 3-4 years by not preparing for the Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer backups, not getting the nose tackles since this thing has even started. We haven't gotten one nose tackle in the first 3 rounds.
Nothing.
Like it's just like we have not addressed those areas, and that's getting the key playmaker right next to Stephon Diggs. Yes, Emmanuel Sanders was a year.
1 year once again. Right. Daquan Jones has been, I would say,
four
up
games.
until the injury. Until the injury, he was fine, but he was a shell of himself last year. And once again, we can go back to Star Lotulelei was good for 1 year. You know what I mean? Like, and then he missed first this COVID, and then he came back and he was a shell of himself, and we let him go. Bro, I'm telling you now. I'm not talking about when we first got. Somebody said Hyde and Poyer. Yes, Hyde and Poyer. I'm talking about over the last 4 years. I'm talking about because in the beginning I felt like those were good steps. That's what kind of catapulted this team early on, right? Hyde, Poyer, John. Then we addressed the offense and John Brown, Cole Beasley. Then we traded for Stephon Diggs. Those were good. I think great times, like for propelling this team forward, right? But over the last 4 years is what I'm saying, guys. It's free agency has been rough, tough. It's so bad that we're picking up guys. John Brown during seasons. Remember a couple years back, Cole Beasley came back mid-season or late season, because we can't get things right. Guys are getting hurt. We don't have good depth. Guys that we thought could be good depth weren't good depth. We're going out and getting linebackers and AJ Klein. Once again, I go back to this defense and truthfully, guys, you can blame injuries all you want and all that crap. We're in year 9, bro. To his point, we have yet to get a nose tackle next to Aller, right? A good one, a young one. Someone's going to be here a while. We haven't addressed our safeties. We knew Poyer and Hyde were on their last legs, right? Right? They were on their way out. We should have addressed that. Instead, we just stuck with DeMar, which we knew DeMar. Listen, DeMar's a good player, but he's a depth guy. He's depth. That's why do you think he was a free agent for? Nobody picked him up but us. Nobody wanted DeMar. Come on, man. I like him, but he's not a starting safety, in my opinion. He's a good depth guy. He's a good guy to have if a guy goes down. Perfect. Fill in for a couple games, no problem. But we've never had a sound defense. We've had a good defense, but never great. And it's year 9, guys. We just don't address certain positions and certain guys we bring back can't stay healthy. It's just the way this team has gone. It's the way things have gone. And I said it last year when we made the playoffs. What was the excuse going to be if we lose? Because we went in healthy for the first time. We went in healthy in the playoffs with the fully healthy team, especially on defense. Yeah, and guess what, guys? Still didn't work out. Still got players injured in the championship game. Rapp didn't play. Benford went out with a concussion right away. I know these things happen, but guys, this defense, by the way, before that game, we gave up a touchdown every opening drive in the playoffs. Opening touchdown with ease. They marched right down. Denver, right away. A touchdown. We didn't stop anybody. Opening touchdown. Ravens, Kansas City. This defense has been a problem. We don't address it. We work around it. We Band-Aid it. We put Band-Aids on it.
You can't do it this year. You don't got to.
You can't.
This year, you're going to have to play your young guys, and I think that's what I was talking about.
Yes,
you have to play your young guys. You don't have it. If there's any saving grace from Obanoji and Hoyt getting hurt, getting suspended, you don't got a damn choice but to play your young guys. So like Aramis was saying a little earlier about the scouting, about Brandon Beane and McDermott, having their input of what the scouting department is saying, hey, we think that this player is on top. They're evaluating the board and they're saying to themselves, okay, you know what? We like the board. We like what we're seeing, but we're going to covet this player over this, even though he's higher. We're going to cover this particular player. We think that he's just on top. And then they follow the board throughout. Again, if that is true, I will say this. I am scared to death they're going to draft Landon Jackson in the first round. I've been saying this for months. I'm scared to death because again, they went to his pro. They met him before the pro day. They don't normally do that. And so he scares me to death because he's a second round prospect that is going that again, the Bills are drafting at 30, or they could potentially trade up for,
which is basically a second round. I mean, let's be real, right?
That's their archetype of players: 6'5", long arms, 273 pounds with pass rushing potential. The problem is, though, is that we are in a year where you don't have a choice. You need a CB2. And there are.
I agree, bro. I totally. What do you feel about Samuel, by the way? I mean, I know he has some injury. I know that's Asante. Samuel.
No.
Yeah. No. The problem with this is he. I know he has some kind of. I like him. I do. I think he's a really good corner, but I think he's had something going on with the injury bug. I know something's happening there. I think there's a reason why teams haven't signed him yet. There's definitely something injury related, in my opinion.
Trey Amos. To me, we get to the draft. The safest, if you want to, which we should have been doing this years ago, but if you want to secure your defense, you want to get a cornerback that fits perfectly for what you do, which for the most part, again, in the past we ran a lot of cover 2. We're starting to change that a lot into more man coverage, cover 3, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You want someone who can fit your defense perfectly. You get Trey Amos. You get a 6 foot, 190-pound corner with 4.45 speed.
Which we don't, by the way, we haven't had a speedy corner in ages.
You pick Trey Amos. I'll even follow with Jahdae Barron because Jahdae Barron has a little bit of versatility. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he plays safety, but you pick Trey Amos in the first round. You play him opposite right next to Christian Benford. He is not Kiar Elam because Kiar Elam come out of Florida. All they made him do was play man coverage. And even then, there were questions about the technical aspect about his game because he relied a lot more on raw athletic ability and strength than his actual technical prowess. Trey Amos is the complete opposite of what Elam was coming out of college. He's played at a high level for 3 years. He's played in 3 different systems, including Nick Saban's a pattern match system. So we don't got to worry about the particular if he's going to have a hard time grasping it, because what he ran at Ole Miss is a little, or at Bama is a little similar to what we're trying to do now. You pick up Trey Amos in the first round, you play him opposite right next to Benford, you have just secured your secondary. Despite the safety concerns, you addressed it. You addressed it because the whole point of the Bills McDermott defense is for offenses to attack the middle. That's why you have Milano and that's why you have Bernard. That's the whole point of that nickel defense. And so you get those 2 dudes, you secure it. But what the Bills will probably do, mark my words, chat, they'll probably take Landon Jackson, they're going to take a prospect that shouldn't even be there, and they'll take it because they love the upside and they love the athletic prowess of that player rather than that player. Mark my words.
They play that game a lot. Now sometimes it works. I mean, we do like. I noticed Brandon Beane. Yeah, he loves project players, and I will say some of them have worked out. Spencer Brown. Gregory Rousseau, listen, Gregory Rousseau is a project player, guys, no matter how you see it. He was very, very new at the position when we drafted him 1 year of football. That's why I still like the potential. I still think he has a lot of upside. So there's been guys that we've taken chances off, but then there's been guys that have not worked out. Cody Ford, you know what I mean, for example. So we'll see. I don't know how I haven't really dived in to the draft yet to see. I do like Kenneth Grant a lot, but they're going to have to trade up, obviously, to get him. I think he would be but I just don't see I don't see it happening. As a matter of fact, I could see him trading back again to compile more draft picks because he's a hoarder. He loves the draft picks, though a lot of them guys wind up being released or go to the practice squad, wind up not even making the team. Look at the receiver out of Florida that we wound up just getting rid of. That was on the team. He was a useless draft pick. What was his name?
I know. I forgot. I know you're talking about. It made no sense. Puka Nacua What?
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, like, once again, if you're going to have all these draft picks, why? Like, what's the point of having 5, 6 rounds? You use them in a trade up. You're going back and back. I don't understand that part, that Bean does that a lot, where he keeps compiling late round draft picks, 5th, 6th, 7th, and we're not doing anything with them. We're getting, Luke Tenuta and like it just Justin Shorter. That was his name. I just, like I said, man, look, man, we need to address this defense. I don't know if this is the year that they're going to do it, because they haven't. We're always picking late. We're going to have to trade up eventually to get a top guy. It's just going to have to be, or you trade your draft pick for a player like a Hendrickson, or a player that is going to be effective right away without having to go, well, it's a project player. Well, we got him in the 3rd round. We'll see what happens. Oh, we got him, early 2nd round. He's a 3rd round. I just feel like, man, Jared, there's going to come a time that Brandon Bean's going to have to start rolling some dice. He has to. You can't keep playing this game it's always about the future of the team. You have to eventually go all out, go all in. And I'm not saying just waste away your money, but there has to be a time where Brandon Bean, and I know you guys are going to say Von Miller, but the Von Miller signing, Jared, I'm on the fence about, because at the time I liked it. I did. I thought Von Miller brung more than just what he did on the field. I thought he brung leadership, and for the young guys, like I thought that we were going to get a little bit more out of that from Von, and I think he did bring that too. I think the players did learn from him, but the injury fucked us. And let's be real. He started off great. 8 sacks, 9 sacks. I forget what it was. But, bro, at that time, at that age, that was a wrap, guys. That was a second ACL. Like, it was just bad luck. At the end of the day, it was a risky signing because of his age and the injury. If it happened, we were fucked. And that's exactly what happened. Von Miller got hurt. And that was the one splash signing that Brandon Bean has done in the offseason, and it backfired. And I feel like, let me ask you, do you think something like that messes with him a little bit, where he's like, I don't want to make that same mistake again. I'm not going to do another splash signing. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want something like to backfire, like a trade, like a bad trade. Like, I feel like the Kelvin Benjamin trade kind of, he didn't make a trade for a while as for another player after that. And he finally did it with Stephon Diggs. But do you feel like it kind of messed with him a little bit? Like, you don't want to make the same mistake?
I think that there is some validity to it. I don't think he's willing to give up like 2 first-round picks and then give a player a ginormous extension and like Von had a lot of the guaranteed money. He had a ginormous money. He was 33 years of age. They didn't give up like a gigantic haul in terms of draft capital in order for him to grab.
No,
but it meant
free agent.
It was going to mess up your cap, and like it was going to we were already in a not so good cap situation.
We weren't supposed to spend money that year. Remember?
We weren't even supposed to spend that much money on a big name guy.
Yeah,
and here comes Von, and at the time it made sense.
Jason. Yeah.
Like
it did. If you think about it, Jarek, the other guy that went for a high, he's not even in the NFL. He didn't even make it. Chandler Jones, who got paid. He didn't even make it that year. I think he got something happened, right?
Well, Chandler Jones had he had a great year with
something happened mental, right? Something happened mentally, right?
Yeah, it just
right. So they just that was nothing even. So at least we got something from Von, because if you think about it, we could have went the opposite way and went with Chandler Jones and got absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's exactly. So I get it. Like, I don't mind those moves though, here and there. I feel like you have to, as a GM, make some uncomfortable decisions to better the team. I truthfully believe that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Bean he doesn't like being uncomfortable, and he doesn't want to make those, you know what I mean? I think he fears it'll hurt the team in the future outlook of the team. If he makes this bold move, it'll set the team back. And if you look at some of the teams like the Rams, who went all out and everyone's like, oh, fucking stupid Rams, bro, they won a Super Bowl and they're right back at it again, going to the playoffs.
Well, they drafted
it only took a year. Right? I mean, they drafted, they got Puka, like, and look, they got rid of Cooper. They brung in another receiver to Devontae, who's a good pickup. Like, they're fine. Like, and they're gonna, so it's okay. I feel like to roll the dice, to go all out. If your ultimate goal is the Super Bowl, if it's just to be good, go to the playoffs, then that's what we're doing. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Like, there's no surprise, guys. We're going to win the East next year. We're going to be AFC East champions again. I'm telling you now, like, this team is good. We're probably another, what do you think next year? I would say another 11 to 13 win.
Yeah, 11, 13.
Right? Right. That's rough. Like, and guys, I get it. Like, you should be happy about that. But at this point, you also should want more and expect more. And you should also expect more out of year now. Oh, I have a great, what? I never pulled up. And I meant to pull this up. This is a great, to all the people out there that like that, because there's a lot of people that talk about that back Sean McDermott, right? And I got to show you this. This is so crazy to me. Really, really crazy, because social media wasn't around back then, and I wasn't, there was no podcasts and stuff like that. So I want to pull this up real quick. I want to show you guys this. This is crazy to me, bro. I never really looked this up until recently. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. I couldn't believe this. Okay. All right. Let me know if that's too. Can you see that? Let me scroll down. All right. So this is Marty Schottenheimer. You're good old Marty, right? Okay. So this is his coaching record. Is that too small, or can you see that? Yeah, that's way too small. Let me zoom that in, guys. Let me zoom that in. Can you see it yet? Is that good?
A little bit more.
A little bit more? All right. So this is the reason why I bring this up. All right, there we go. Is that good?
Yep, that's good.
Okay. So here's Marty Schottenheimer's record. And I'm going to start with when he got to KC, because forget the Cleveland. Even though, I mean, honestly, we can even start in Cleveland. 1986, Jarek. He was 12-4. By the way, no Super Bowls, but let's just start there. 12-4 in 86, 10-5 in 87, 88, 10-6, 89. Here he goes. He goes to the Chiefs, right? 8 wins first season. Okay. That's like Sean McDermott's first year. I get it, right? Your first year, probably a bad team, right? You're building. Next year, here we go. 1990, Jarek, 11 wins. 91, 10 wins. 92, 10 wins. 93, 11 wins. 94, 9 wins. 95, 13 wins. 96, 9 wins. 97, 13 wins. Would you say that fans were happy at that point? But they, like, people that were saying, bro, what's going on? Whose record seems very similar to that?
It's McDermott, yeah.
Sean McDermott. But do you think there was fans at that time saying, why would you fire this guy? He's a winning head coach, winning record.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, my point is here. He has no Super Bowls. This whole run here. Excellent record. Excellent, bro. And look, even in San Diego, Jarek, even in San Diego, he had 8, 4, 12, 9, 14. Bro, guys, that's a long time with one team, especially in Kansas City. He was there from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons. 10. You know what year we're going on with Sean McDermott? 9. So it's the same thing. What's the difference? So how much more longer do you ride with a Marty Schottenheimer? Because he couldn't get the job done. You have to eventually move on, guys. That's our point.
Yeah,
and he's not.
He will not do it.
So that's my point. So you guys can say all you want about winning and you trust me when I tell you, the Kansas City Chiefs owners kept that dude around that long because he was winning. But at the end of the goal is a Super Bowl. It's not about winning in the regular season. It's not about what you did, how many games you won in the regular season. The ultimate goal is a Super Bowl. And I feel like you guys, like a lot of fans that stick up for McDermott, go back to this record thing or winning. Oh, we win. We go to the playoffs over here. Who cares? Because I promise you guys, Kansas City Chiefs fans, by year 7, year 6, we're going, it's going to be the same result next year in year 8 with Marty Schottenheimer. We're going to win. I promise you, if there was a podcast out in those years, or if we go back and listen to FM, AM radio, I promise you, they would have been talking about Marty. Here we go, guys. Another year of Kansas City Chiefs football. Marty Schottenheimer is going to win us 12 games, 13, and we're going to be knocked out in the playoffs because that's what he does. And that's what we're turning into. That's what Sean McDermott is. And I just really feel that way, guys. It's not going to – the magic, the dream of winning a Super Bowl with this guy as our head coach, it's not going to happen. It's just going to always be good enough where you're going to be like, hey, we're still a winning team, and that's all that matters. And it's not, guys. If you've been watching the Buffalo Bills as long as I have, you won a Super Bowl before you die. Like, I've been watching since 1989. Like, it's not just to be good anymore. Like, you know when that was acceptable, Jarek? When we were 17 years with no playoffs. That's when just being finally a playoff team was acceptable, right? A 10-win team, 11-win. You know what I mean? I was cool with it. Like, I totally was like, hey, it's looking up. Things are looking up. But, bro, things have looked up forever now. We have yet to get to where we want to be. Like, so it has to come a time where the Bagulas have to see it as the same situation as the Chiefs owners did, and you have to move. And the San Diego Chargers, when they moved on from a guy like Marty Schottenheimer. And by the way, there's a lot of head coaches in sports, basketball, baseball, football. They run into this issue where they're really good regular season coaches, right? They they know how to kind of build a team a little bit, but they don't. They run into a wall, a brick wall, and it happens. And fans eventually go, it's never going to happen. Eventually you wake up and go, it's not going to happen. And I don't know. I feel like that's where we're at right now.
I think the only way we move on from McDermott is if Josh Allen is gone and he hasn't even gone to a Super Bowl. Like if he doesn't win,
that will be the only way, dude. And because let's be real.
Now, like what else do you?
Yeah, Josh. Yeah. Yep. He's the team, guys. Like Josh, if Josh Allen's not here, we are a 4 or 5-win team. Those are facts.
Or we're the Pittsburgh Steelers right now with Mike Tomlin, and we're winning.
Yes, and we're shuffling quarterback. We're having Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is in here for a couple years.
Because you have to unless you get extremely lucky, and there's a prospect that comes.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that's close to Josh Allen, but there's a prospect that you like that you feel like can transform the franchise, that can still go back there and help transform your franchise, which is rare for a Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson. Like it's rare for quarterbacks to fall to pick in later rounds or later in the first round and still transform them to make him a great quarterback. It's rare. So unless you start losing early, you tank and then you get a top 10 pick, which that's a gamble because you don't know if that quarterback is going to work out. It's like knowing McDermott's track record, I have no idea if it's gonna work out if Josh Allen's gone.
Spin saying, what are the Chiefs without Mahomes? I agree, but at the same time, guess what? Their defense has carried them over the last 2 years. That's one. Two, they have gone into playoffs games. I think I remember one, they didn't even have Mahomes playing, and they had they won on I forget who the quarterback was. They still won that game, a playoff. You telling me we win a playoff game without Josh Allen? Come on. No, bro.
Yeah, it sucks. Because if the Browns would have won that game, we would have beat the Browns.
Right. I forget who was the quarterback. It was like an old school quarterback, right? And it was like a 4th down. They trusted him. It was like it went to Tyreek Hill. It was like a 4th and 2 or something. I forget the guy's name.
No, it wasn't Daniels. I forgot.
No, it was like an older quarterback. I forget his name. But either way, listen, I'm not saying that if a team loses a star quarterback, they're going to be still a great team. I promise you, though, if the Chiefs did lose them, Mahomes, they would be a better team than the Buffalo Bills in a regular season. I promise you, they would. They have a deeper defense. They have a better defensive coordinator right now. I like Babbage, but I don't feel like he's on the same.
No, Spags is a Hall.
Right. He's not on the same. Right, not on the same level. They also have Jones, who's one of the best. Like, they have a good defense, dude. Like, they could trust me when I tell you, if they lost Mahomes, that team probably would be an 8-win team, maybe 9. I'm telling you right now, they had with their head coach. I would believe that they still could be an 8-9 win team for sure, 100%. I would have no faith in the Buffalo Bills winning 8 games without Josh Allen. Impossible. Not happening. So, yeah. So, look, man, teams want to come here and play for Josh Allen. They don't want to come here and play for Sean McDermott. Look at any player. They never say in their interviews, we come to play for the great coaching staff. We want to come play for Josh Allen. If Josh Allen was on his team, this team would be not a very good team. These are facts. We don't have a good defense right now. Last year, we got lucky with not lucky, but the turnovers is what saved the defense. The turnover differential. That's what saved our defense. Outside of that, our defense was not very good. It was not very good last year. So we need to improve. The defense has to improve. And I'm just disappointed in going into year 9 that we're still trying to figure out our defense, trying to piece it together. It should already be pieced together. I understand you lose players, they get older, but you should have all of this prepared. You should, like you said earlier, Poyer and Hyde, you knew they were on there. You knew it. You should have drafted. You should have gotten guys prepared and ready for their departure. Absolutely. We did not. You should have had a guy next to Ed Oliver when you knew you drafted an undersized defensive tackle on Ed Oliver. You knew it. You went out and got Star Lutule, who was fine for those a year. Daquan Jones, same thing. A fill-in, a Band-Aid. They're doing it wrong. Doing it all wrong, man. It's tough, man. It's tough as a Bills fan because I know we're going to be good. I just don't know if we're a Super Bowl good. And right now, what's your... If you were to go into next season, right as of right now, we haven't gone through the draft, but what would you say our percentage of getting to a Super Bowl? What's our odds right now? Current, yeah. Because right now, honestly, guys, we're running it back.
To get into a championship, I'll say like 40%. Because I
don't even know if it's that.
I think the Bills, it's the Bills, Ravens, and I think the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs those are the top 3 teams right now. I mean, the Broncos, I don't believe in the Broncos. Don't believe in
I don't believe in the East. Yeah, the whole East besides us is trash. Yeah.
Like
I think the Patriots are on the run.
I think it's 3 teams that control the East because of quarterback play. And the Bengals defense
absolutely
is horrific.
Yeah.
Their offensive line did not get significantly addressed. It is 3 teams that's going to be competing for the AFC. It's the Ravens.
But as of right now, though, what have we done to improve the team? That has nothing. Correct. It's almost a run it back situation. Correct.
The roster. We have for the most part retained the
roster.
That got us
right. We got 2 guys that aren't even going to play for almost the first half of the season. Listen, I like the receiver Palmer, but I don't love him. Good separation. Not very speedy. Doesn't have the greatest speed. He's okay. We needed a separator, so I get that. But I almost could see this signing being a Curtis Samuel signing. Let's be real. It could turn into that. I don't know if it will. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that, he is what they're hoping him to be, which is a separator, which we didn't really have last year besides Shakir, but we haven't really done anything to move the needle.
I wish we would have tried to trade. Maybe they did try to trade for Brian Thomas. They just didn't have a trade partner. But I wish we had a Brian Thomas caliber player. I wish we had a Malik. We don't. And I hate to break it to Bills fans. It's not happening this year either. If you think that we're going to be drafting a Marcus Golden or Victoria McMillan or Luther, like we're drafting defense guys. We're drafting. I'm telling you, quarterback, edge rusher, defensive.
We have to though. They have to. They have this. This has to be a heavy. They need to, Jarek. This has to be a defensive draft. Yeah, you have to. You have nobody. And by the way, 6-game suspension doesn't have any impact. Of course it does. That's money spent on guys that aren't going to be there for depth. Listen, those guys are depth guys or rotational guys. Now you don't have them. Now, guess what? You're going to need to either sign other free agents to fill in for them for now, and they're waste of money for now. When you could have used the money on somebody that could help you week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever. Of course of course it is. Just like players we signed last year that we cut that didn't even make the team that were supposed to make the team. It does have an impact because we could have went out and spent that money on somebody else. Of course, every move there's some sort of impact to our team. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be like saying the Boogie Basham was no impact, the 2nd round pick. Of course it was, because we could have went somewhere, could have got a different player that could have been produced. So now we have 2 players that aren't going to do anything. Nothing. We basically signed 2 guys to sit on their ass for more than 6 games, by the way. It's going to be at least 7, 8 before you see any production out of them.
Think about this. What did your last draft class what did last season's draft class do?
No, that's what I'm saying. So Keon Coleman.
You had Ray Davis and
listen, I like Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is going to be a good solid number 2 running back. I don't, he's not a number 1, but he's a good running back. I like him. I told you guys Keon Coleman it's going to take some time, and I still feel that way. I think Keon Coleman, it could be boom or bust, to be honest with you, right? And right now, it's too early to say. Because I felt what his stats were, Jarek, this year. I kind of felt like that's what it was going to be. I really didn't have like super high expectations for Keon Coleman. I don't know why anybody else would. Like I felt like Keon Coleman was going to take a little bit of time. You know what I mean? He needed to put some more work in. My only thing with Keon Coleman is, and I don't know him, but how much work is he really going to put in the offseason to better himself? You get what I mean? Because some of these players they don't have that mentality. They want to bullshit around the offseason. They don't want to better themselves. They feel like they already have the tools to wait till the mini camp. Blah, blah, blah. I like the player that goes out and puts that effort work in, like Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir met up with Eric Moulds. He put the work in. That's why you saw a better Khalil Shakir last year. Put the work in, put the extra grind in. Will Keon Coleman do that? If he does, maybe we see a better version of Keon Coleman. I hope so too. So you know what? Like I know he works out with CeeDee Lamb, his cousin. I don't even know if that's a good thing. Honestly, it's his cousin's family. I mean, I'm not saying they're not putting work in, but you know what I mean? It's family. Like I almost feel like he should go outside, hire somebody else, or go with the Molds, or go. You know what I mean? Go somewhere else where it's all business. You know what I mean? All business. You're coming here, we're going to fucking work out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're not doing that, but I kind of feel like, friends, family, you know what I mean? Maybe bullshit around a little bit. I don't know. If I'm him, I'm reaching out to somewhere else and I'm putting that extra work in. If he really wants to show that the Bills made the right decision by trading he don't have to.
If he doesn't end up being the player that we think he can be, then I mean, we're going into next season which I think he can be. Again, he was hurt. He hurt his wrist. He never recovered from the layoff. The continuity.
Right, that hurt. Yeah, a month off. Yep.
Right.
And Sloss was right. Keon was starting to play better absolutely. And it was good.
He's got to play. Yeah. We all can agree though. This is also something that Joe Brady has got to do well. They got to stop playing him out of position. Because that first year, he should have played a lot more in the slot, or he should have been a lot more versatile in terms of where you play him at. Like he's a power slot receiver. Like first year, he's a pure power. He's a guy that can box.
I want to see him in the slot more. Actually, I think he would benefit more in the slot.
Right.
To me,
But
I'm not saying put him always in the slot, but
yeah, right. The problem is you have Shakir and you have Kincaid, two guys who
exactly. Yeah.
Like we have too many.
I get that too.
So you have
but if you're Joe Brady, you got to also play the matchups. Right. I don't care. You know what I mean? You know, if Keon Coleman it can work in the slot better that game, you put him in the, you know what I mean? I'm not saying the whole game, but trust me, like he could do that. Spin, I'm not saying that Keon Coleman's not going to, I never said that suggested that he's not. I'm saying that he needs to. I'm not saying that he won't or he isn't. I'm just saying if Keon Coleman wants to better himself, just like any player, not just Keon Coleman, I'm talking any player that gets drafted, any player, even bro, look at Tom Brady. I'm just talking about the greats, the best of the best. Put the extra work in the offseason. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying if you really want to better yourself, you want to silence the critics. Because trust me, Keon Coleman is getting critics. Oh, the Bills, they should have drafted Worthy. Keon Coleman's a bust. Blah, blah, blah. Like, trust me, those players hear the noise and they want to they want to silence the crowd. They want to silence the critic. Okay, put that extra work in. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that's what you got to do. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen came in the league. What was his knock? Terrible completion percentage, 57, whatever it was. His first year, terrible. It was like 56 with us or something like that. Next year, 57, 58, terrible. And what did he do, Jarek? He went out and said, something's wrong, right? I gotta figure this out. Went and saw a specialist, fixed his throwing motion. Next year, 65, 67% completion rate. Just like that, because he put the extra work in. He figured out what the problem was. He corrected it. He was working with Palmer every offseason. Like, that's what you got to do. And you saw the benefit of Josh Allen. You saw how much better he got year after year after year after year because he put the extra work in, right? And trust me, James Cook, I'm sure he put the extra work in. Look at James Cook. I'm just saying, like, these players, that's what they got to do. If you really want to be the best of the best or be top tier, you got to put the work in. I'm not saying he's not. We're just saying, I hope he's doing that. I hope he does that. That's all I'm saying. Because I think I like Keon Coleman. I had the Bills drafted Keon Coleman. I thought the Bills should draft Keon Coleman. I like the upside of Keon Coleman. I just hope he puts the work in. That's all I'm saying. And if he does, I think we'll all be happy with the result. That's all I'm saying. Receiver has to separate. Coleman can't do that. Josh throwing jump balls is the weakest ability. Yeah, Josh does need to get better at that, by the way. Josh, look at his numbers past 20 years. Yes, they used to be better. It's odd. I don't know why over the last few years his deep ball he overthrows. I don't get that.
Overthrows. I don't know.
Yeah, mostly overthrows, but you're right. He does underthrow too. I don't understand that. And I don't know if that's just because he doesn't do it a lot often now lately. Because in the beginning, I thought he wasn't that bad. He actually hit. Remember John Brown, Stephon Diggs? Yeah, right. Robert Foster. Like, he was going deep early on in his career. It wasn't really. It's been a problem over the last 2 years. I don't know why. That's something he has to figure out. But the jump ball, you're right. I think I feel like the fade routes, like he needs to get better at because Coleman would be perfect in the red zone for those fade routes. You know, he could box somebody out easily. That's what he does. He's a former basketball player. But Coleman could get better separation if he puts the work in. So I'm talking about putting the work in. You have to put that work in and figure that problem out. He can separate. Trust me. He can get better. This isn't like we're talking about professional athletes. Like, these guys all can get better. Like, they're not just, I just suck at separating. I guess I'll never be good at it. They can trust me. You put the work in, they can figure it out. And I feel like he can. All right. That's my opinion. We'll see. I don't know. Every player needs to put in. Yes, Ben. That's my point. But guess what? Not every player does. There's players that don't. There's players that slack off in the offseason, that get in trouble, that don't work. Trust me. There is. And they don't ever get better. The numbers related for 20-plus yards is a function of the offense. Maybe. Definitely. They definitely dialed it back. Keon will be able to separate just fine as long as he learns how to run routes. That's true. Well, and that's something that he's going to have to work on. That's it. I feel like this, man. I do feel like next year you're going to see a better Keon Coleman. I do. I just think it's going to be it might be year 3 before we see the blossom of Keon Coleman.
I just want to give him the 800 yards.
I'm going to give you an example too. If I were to have a time machine, Jarek, and go back in time, I promise you, because I remember this, I'd be in here talking about Spencer Brown, and I remember so much hate. Spencer Brown sucks. Shouldn't start. He's terrible. Why did we draft him? Should we cut him? And I was going, hell, Spencer Brown has a lot of upside. He just has had some bad luck. He hasn't worked with Cromer yet. Give him an opportunity to get healthy and work with Cromer. And look, holy shit. And now everybody's, Spencer Brown, pretty damn good. Sometimes it takes a little while. Not every player hits the NFL running. Some players take a little time. Eric Moulds, it wasn't until year 3 or 4 so he actually became something. And then he flourished and put up some good stat. Not every player comes out the gate running. There's certain players that do, certain players that don't. So I feel like Keon Coleman is one of those guys we're just going to have to be patient on. Honestly, guys, same with Gregory Rousseau. I mean, if you really want to be honest, Gregory Rousseau was a project. He was. And the Bills gambled on that with the draft. They gambled on it with the contract because they know they see the upside, and he's gotten better each year. And I do believe Keon Coleman in time will silence the critics. I just feel like I said, once again, it really, I think it goes on him about what he wants to put in, because I do think the tools are there, right? I do. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll see. Hard to push the ball downfield when you have 0 wide receivers that can stretch the field. That is correct, Spin. And it's been a thing. It's been a problem. Who was the last guy to stretch the field? Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders.
I mean, it was Gabe was the guy after, right? Is that safe to say? He was average, but he wasn't. But he turned into him. I agree, but it's not as. But it turned into it. Gabe was the deep guy for us over the last. Which was I get it. It shouldn't have been.
And the Bills, they may not have that. It's most likely they're not going to have that field structured this season. I think Bills fans who want to address
Sean Brown,
areas within the game. I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that Bills fans want, they're going to be disappointed with. They're going to be. I
agree.
Unless we get if they get Arian Smith in day 3, great, because now you have a guy that can stretch the field vertically, 4-3 guy with a lot of speed. The problem is that he's not the best route runner in the world. He can, but he's not the best route runner in the world. And so now all of a sudden you're gonna they're not doing that. Bean has religiously talked about that they're not going for guys with pure athletic ability. They're going for guys that they believe are also really good players.
Fit their mold, right? Fit their mold, cultural guy. Yeah.
They want physical, strong, high motor sort of they that's what they want. Savion Williams is more of a guy that I can see end up again. I don't want Savion Williams going to the Bills, but I can see it. I can see him getting a big body sort of receiver. Yeah. Another one that's more of a Mac Hollins type. That's their caliber, not these receivers.
Yeah. But Spin, I get that, but we used him as that. I mean, the truth is the truth. Go back and look at the years he played the last few years. He was our leading receiver yards wise. He was our deep. We didn't have anybody.
Yeah, average.
It shouldn't have been.
He was the man.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been, but it was. So we're gonna get out of here soon. I just want to run through what we've done so far in the offseason with you, Jarek, real quick. It'll be quick because we've been on here 2 hours. So March 10th, Bernard signed his 4-year contract extension. I'm good with that. I'm sure you're good with that too, correct? We'll just run through these. We resigned Ty Johnson, 2-year deal. Reggie Gilliam, 1-year deal. I'm fine with that. I wish they would use Reggie more in the run game as far as blocking goes. I feel like he could be beneficial. They don't. I don't know why. Whatever. He's more special teams, but that's fine. Kyer Elam. We got a 6th round pick. Or actually, we got a 5th round and then what did they get? So Elam in a 6th round, and we got a 5th and a 7th. What do you feel about that? Listen, I can't believe we got that.
It's a steal.
I was happy.
And it's two things that Bane's either going to do. He's either going to trade down or we're going to trade up. We're going to trade up and get whatever player that we want to get. But that for us to get that haul, to get anything, because honestly, I thought that they would keep Elam, because I don't think that there was any team that was even going to be attracted to the offer. But I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Who knows if Elam goes to the Cowboys and he succeeds, man.
You never know. Yeah, I never listen. I listen. Any athlete in the NFL, any pro sports there's no bums in any sport. Like if you got to this level,
these are professional athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Elam. Yeah, exactly. It just didn't work out here. Okay. Maybe it was scheme related. Maybe it was Elam related. Maybe it was both. And I think I'm more on it was both. I think he didn't fit the scheme from the get-go. I think we tried with him. It just didn't work. And I think also, he had some problems as well on his end that he needs to correct. And he's young. He's a young player. Who knows what happens in Dallas? But I'm shocked that like I said, once again, I didn't think we were going to get anything. I thought I just thought we were going to wind up cutting him, and we were just going to, it is what it is. But I think that was good for both parties, to be honest with you. Gives Elam a fresh start somewhere else, get out of Buffalo. And also it gets Elam out of Buffalo, where fans don't need to be talking about it anymore. We signed Darrington Evans, which will be a practice squad guy, right? I mean, can we agree on that? Like, he's been on the team, 2 or 3 times now, I think. Safety Derek Forrest. I never heard of the guy. Do you know this guy?
Yeah. So, So I watched back. I went back and I watched a little bit of his tape. I think, again, he's a depth safety piece. He had 4 interceptions back in 22 with the Commanders, actually started for him, but he's been more of a backup sort of safety. I think he's more of a box guy, to be honest with you. I don't think he's more of a threat. I think he's really more of a box guy, that can be pretty valuable in the run game. And again, you need one of those guys. I think he'll be the backup to Cole Bishop, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, you talk to a lot of Commanders fans, they really like this dude. Now, of course, I'm not going to take Commanders fans to their word, because they told us that Tim Sutter would be like the next coming of Marcel Darius with this team. And
they did. I was hyped up because of that. I was like, yo, they didn't want to. Fans are loving this guy. Yeah, he didn't work out quite.
But they like him. Like they like, you talk to a Commanders fan, they'll tell you man, you got a dog. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But no, I think I went back and I watched a little of him. He does have some playmaking ability. Obviously, very valuable asset in the run game, and he's athletic. Like, he ran a 4.3. I think he ran somewhere in the 4.3.
Which is good. So we have a little speed on that position.
His RAS
very
score,
good.
He has like a 9 out of 10 RAS score. So you're going to get an athletic.
Right. Okay.
You're getting more
maybe
from the back end of your secondary, which is important.
Listen, maybe he competes, and you never know.
Right.
And that's fine with me, because right now, I don't think any of the safeties are locked. I mean,
no.
I guess Rap would be locked, but other than that, like, I wouldn't lock DeMar in as a starter next year. You know what I mean? Like, Force is a free safety and can tackle, so spin. So next one up is we signed DeMar. I mean, it's fine. It's 1-year contract. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he would be back. But I'm not hating it. It's a 1-year deal. Now, here's the interesting one. We didn't talk about it yet. Joey Bosa. He has not been healthy. He has not been healthy for pretty much his whole career. Signed him to a 1-year deal. What do you think about the Joey Bosa signing? That's the bit. I guess that would be the splash signing this year. What's your thoughts on Joey and this team? I gotta say, his press conference, he just sounds like depleted. Like he sounds like he talks like an old man. Like, and he said, "Old man," like he just didn't have he just didn't seem excited. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm gonna bring it. Like, I don't know. Like I didn't like his demeanor, I guess. And that's just me. I thought his press conference was a little bit like, "Hey, you look, man. I'm an older guy now. I'm gonna do what I can out here." That's like, Joey, bring a little juice. Get us a little excited on this 1-year deal. Like, am I wrong on that? Like, it just felt like you was just like, hey, they took a gamble on this old guy, and I'm just gonna go out there and do my best still. That's what I caught it. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, well, like if you take a look at Spence, kind of like Spence goes way more in depth with Forrest. I think I call him a strong. Forrest save is a free save that can play the deep zone, so he goes way more in depth with that. So shout out to Spence. But no, Joey Bosa is.
I never heard him talk, Mikey. Sorry.
He's playing. He's shout out to Mike. He's playing. He's not playing. The full snap count. He's not doing it. Not at that age. With all the injuries that he's occurred, he's even said it himself. He doesn't want to be that player anymore. He's gonna play. He's gonna play. I think a little over 50%, maybe literally at the mark 50%. But he's gonna be a rotation. I'm sorry, like he's not gonna be a 3-down player for this team. He's gonna share reps with AJ Epinesa. And fans may not want to hear it, but again, there's a reason why they gave him just a $12 million contract. This is going to be different,
right?
Different to Leonard Floyd, because Leonard Floyd was a 3-down player, didn't have an extensive injury history, and they felt like he could be that final piece of the puzzle. Bosa's not going to be that player for this team. Now, Bosa's a better edge player, edge setter than Floyd. I think when we brought in Floyd, I think Floyd at this point of his career, I think Floyd was the better pass rusher. Bosa, I think at this point is more balanced, can set the edge well, can still get off the floor. Is a guy really, really good bull rush, good ripping, good, ripping under, and good swim. But he's not like the Joey Bosa that we saw from his rookie season. That's just he's not that player anymore. Like he's
no, I mean, stats don't lie, guys. Let me pull them up here. Let's be real, guys. Like he started great, right? I mean, like a lot of players, you know what I mean? He's 10.5, 12.5, 5. Yeah. But
injury through the entire year again.
Look at from 2022. 5 games played, 4 games started, 5 game, 2.5 sacks. 2023, 5 games started, 9 games, 6.5. 2024 last year, 9 games started, 5 sacks. I mean, those are not impressive. Those are not impressive numbers, guys.
Now,
like those are
his pressure rate. Like his pressure rate is one of it's it's still like it's better. I think it's up there with Rousseau. It's even
like
higher
Rousseau, yeah. But we don't. But I get the pressure rate thing, but we have that in Rousseau. I need a guy to get home, right? That's what we've been missing, correct? Like that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted Vaughn for, right? To be the closer to get home.
But Vaughn was a premier pass rusher. Joey, like Bosa's.
No, I know Bosa's never been that, but
too afraid to see that was like the closest we've seen was Josh Sweat, and the only way you're going to get Josh Sweat was overpay. You had to overpay for Josh Sweat in order for him to come to the team, and I think that kind of goes back to the point is I think Brandon Beane is because I don't even think that Josh Sweat is a premier pass rusher, but he's the closest to it. But you had to overpay him like he was that guy, and Brandon Beane was just not going to do that. So the closest that you could get to having a guy that can, that can still provide a lot of pressure, a guy that can set the edge. He's not going to be a 3-down player. He's going to share a lot of reputation with Epinesa.
We are definitely,
and it was going to be Joey Bosa. That was
I agree. He is definitely going to be like on a snap count, like a rotational guy. Like he's going to same thing we did with kind of Vaughn. Like he's going to be limit, and maybe that helps him out. It keeps him fresh, or at least, or less injury, prone, right? Having less snap count, but
I don't even think. But his snap
you're right.
And he still got hurt.
Yeah, you're right. That's like I said. Listen, man. I know he's not. I know it's not a big deal. It's 1 year, clearly, but I just still feel like 12.5 for him. Hoyt, the other guy from Pittsburgh. Listen, man. With that money, you could get your depth through the draft. Take that money, and go out and try to get a Henderson. Go out and try to spend a little bit more money and get a premier playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we taking? Why? What's the point here? Like, are they trying? Let's just say hypothetically, Bosa has let's say Bosa has a good year. Let's say Bosa, gets, I don't know, what would be a good year? 13 games a season, I guess. Let's say we got to be realistic. He's going to miss something, right? So let's say 13 would be good. And let's say he gets, I don't know. Let's say he gets, 7.5 sacks. Let's be 8 sacks. Let's say 8.
That's a good number.
That's a decent year, right? More, better than his last 3 years, right? 5, 6.5, 2.5, right? 8 would be pretty good, right? He hasn't had that since 2021. Okay. But here comes the problem. He's only on a 1-year deal. so what do you do?
Are you going to sign him again to like another $12, $13 million contract? Does he take that? And does he want to, or does he want to take the?
Or does he want one big? Yeah, exactly. Or is there a sucker team out there that goes, oh, Joey's back. We're gonna give Joe right. You never know. I'm just saying, like that's the problem here with these 1-year guys, these 1-year contracts. I can't stand them, bro. I just can't, man. Like I said, it's cool if we're tied up in a cap. I get that, but if you're spending this kind of money, man, I feel like just fine. Just go out and get the guy that's going to produce for a while and spend it. Like you don't need to be these 1-year guys. That's not a cheap contract. It's not a crazy high, but it's not like 12.5. It's decent. I don't know. I'm just not totally hyped up for that. So anyway, let's get on to the next. There wasn't a premier playmaker in the market for that money. Yeah, but okay. So why would you spend it? Why do you need Joey Bosa that bad for 12.5? Why? What? Because what's going to be funny if he doesn't work out or gets hurt, then we're all going to be like, well, there you go. What a fucking waste. And it's more possible that it doesn't work out than it works out. If you look at Joey Bosa and his over the last 3 years, I mean, he's barely played 4, 5, 9. There's nothing there that tells me Joey Bosa is going to be productive or stay healthy if history repeats itself. I'm just saying. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't see the sign. I don't see the value. I don't. I could be wrong. Maybe he proves me wrong. But he's an aging player with a lot of injuries. And he also who has not produced in the last 3 seasons. Let's be real. 2.5, 6.5, 5. It's not good. That's nothing that wows me. That doesn't move the needle. That doesn't do anything. Right now, he's a rotational guy. A $12.5 million rotational guy. I'm just saying you can spend your money elsewhere. I get there's not like premier pass rushers out there right now, but okay. Do you have to? What does that mean? You have to spend the money then? To me, that was like damn. We might as well do something. Let's just go inside Joey Bosa. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. Once again, I could change my mind during the season. He could prove me wrong, and Joey has a great year, and we're like, hey, fucking thank God we got Joey Bosa. I hope so. He's 29, but he's the way he's been playing hurt. He's like 39.
Yeah.
right. So I'm just, good thing I'm not the GM because Bean has done so great this offseason, Mikey. We got 2 guys that are fucking can't even play for the first 6 weeks. We got Joey Bosa who can't stay healthy over the last 4 seasons. It's not that great of an offseason. Let's be real. This has been a rocky offseason. Is no one okay? What's your grade right now on this offseason? Right now, before the draft. It's not over yet. Who knows? We could still make a splash trade. There still could be a couple good free agent signing. Who knows? But as of right now, what would you grade the offseason? And have we gotten any better? Any of the moves
no, we
done
haven't
anything?
Nope. I'm giving it a B- is because of the players that you retained. Like we had to keep
exactly. That's it. I'm with you. The extensions. Yes,
that is it. You look at the other signings like Larry Obanoji. Like I get it. Obudoji was the one player like, okay, you know what? 1 year, $7 million deal. He's a backup to Ed Oliver, 3 tech. Still, like he's a player that I don't even think is like, I don't care if he doesn't produce for us in the regular season. You bring him in for the playoffs. That's his role for the backup behind Oliver is for the playoffs. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Hoyt made no sense to me. I get the versatility. I get that he can play in like anywhere on the field, but he's okay at all the areas that like, he's not great. He's not even good. He's okay, but he's a valuable special teams player. And you paid him $30 million when you could have paid Bobby Brown. You could have paid Derek Nandi, who went to the Jets on a cheap 1-year deal. Like, you could have got the 1 tech this year. Instead of now we got to go in the draft and we got to look at Kenneth Grant and Tyreek Williams. And I love these players. But we don't have to do that when you could have brought more depth on your defensive tackle position because you're playing at a nickel. Again, you got these quote unquote pressure rate guys who the point of the defense, again, you're forcing these quarterbacks to step up in the pocket. You're trying to close that gate behind them. But it doesn't matter when, the quarterback steps up. There's nobody to meet in his face. Oliver, you have undersized Oliver who's getting constantly double teamed. You have all your other guys like a Jordan Phillips or your Daquan Jones who are supposed to be those 2-gap players. Jordan Phillips is not because he's a 3 tech, but he should be with his weight. Daquan Jones can't be the 2-gap guy. And so what happens? No matter how much pressure Rousseau and Von Miller are getting, doesn't matter because quarterbacks are stepping up. Boom. Mahomes can escape it. Steps up, escapes it right outside the pocket. That's the reason why Mahomes is clean because we don't have defensive tackle. We don't have those guys. It's not a coincidence that when Daquan Jones was tearing up the league the first 4 games, Oliver was
worst. Right. Absolutely.
Gregory Rousseau had 6 sacks. Von Miller
pushing the pocket. Yes, we don't have that. You're absolutely
and it could have been addressed. All we had to do was give Bobby Brown a $9 or $10 million contract, the same contract Michael Hoyt would have had, and this would have been a B+ offseason because we finally got someone we finally got a compliment for Ed Oliver, a 25-year-old guy that's getting in his prime who was extremely productive for the Rams. It wasn't a coincidence why Braden Fisk had 9 sacks.
Well, Jarek, I got one thing to say. Don't be cruel.
Exactly.
It's Bobby Brown.
I know, and that's again, not a coincidence why that Rams defensive line was tearing it up. It wasn't a coincidence, and the great and ironically, he's got a gap too, like Bobby, like the actual Bobby. He's got the gap. So I don't know, like that's
don't be cruel. All right. Oh man, we brung back Dane Jackson, by the way. I think that's fine. I'm okay. It's a 1-year deal.
Okay,
It's depth. There's our performance enhancing drug abuser. There's our guy who said,
"Come on, man."
Very upset. Says, "Will never." He trusted his trainer. When will these guys stop? You took fucking performance enhancing drugs. Don't blame anyone else, but you're
same crap. You got caught.
right. Here we go. Here's another guy. He's like, yeah, hey, you won't be seeing me till week 7, 8.
There's $40 million, man.
Oh my god. What do you think about Chenault? By the way, he was a recent signing for us. One of the last signings that we did so far. You like him? I know the Bills were high on him in the draft. We're not us, but I know a lot of Bills Mafia wanted us to draft him.
I like the move. Special teams, kick returner wise. Now, of course, we got Carrington, who's also really good in return.
Yes. Yep.
I think they'll keep both. I think Carrington will probably be more as your punt returner, and then Chenault will be your kick returner. But they're both explosive players. They're both really good return men. I know Chenault had a kick return touchdown for a touchdown this season. So yeah, they're going to use him for kick return purposes. They're not using him any other way. He's going to be on. He's going to make this roster, and hopefully he can make an impact on a return unit because it was slacking a little bit.
All right, last thing before we go because we're getting out of this one. This is Bill's Wire article. These are free agents. List of top free agents still available for the Buffalo Bills. So Just gonna run through them. Amari Cooper, yay or nay? You can just say yay or nay.
No,
you don't have to. Okay, yay. So
fired.
no good. All right, Stephon Diggs, who posted some pictures of him. Buffalo Bill put his Buffalo Bills content back up. What do you think about that? I think it's just whatever. He's just bullshitting around.
I think
there's something there.
There could be some bullshit, but I'll be honest with you. I just hope that Bean doesn't take this. Don't hold the grudge on it.
It seems like there's, but will Diggs really want to go back? I see. I think the grudge is between him and McDermott. I don't think it's anything else than that.
Yeah,
I think they would have to hash things out, right? Like I don't. It's not him and Jot, but would they entertain bringing him back after the injury? And is he ready to even start? Like I know he got that midway through late.
You're gonna have to figure out if he's gonna be ready or not. But if he is, I mean, you may not have a choice.
I would, and I'll be honest with you, I would entertain the idea depending on the price and when his availability is, right?
You get it for cheap and it's not gonna hurt you.
Right, exactly.
Why not?
And he has
$20 million.
Right, and he already has like a connection with Josh. It's not like he needs to learn.
Right.
I just don't see it happening because of him and McDermott. That's the only reason. But I would entertain it. Like I wouldn't be mad at it, depending on like I said, once again, depending on when, how much, and when his availability is. That would be my only take on it. But I would definitely welcome him back. I just don't think the Buffalo Bills. We don't like guys that left here that weren't happy. They've like people think Stephon Gilmore would return. I kept telling you he's never returning. He didn't like it here. Like he wanted that. Like he would never return. And I don't know if Diggs will return because I still think there's some bad blood there.
He's 35. You think the Bills want to offer another?
No, exactly. And exactly. Unless you're Jordan Phillips.
That could happen.
I don't know how old Phillips is, but would you bring back Phillips, by the way? Would you?
Phillips? Yeah, I'll bring it back.
I like him. I have no problem with he plays. I'll tell you what, like Buffalo is the place he plays the best. like that dude for some reason is like a Buffalo Bill. Like I love what he brings to the table. I have no problem with him. Anyways, so yes on Stephon Diggs. You would entertain that. Okay. Rasul Douglas or Cam Robinson. And then Rasul Douglas. So Cam, yay or nay?
Nope.
All right, Rasul?
Nope.
Okay. You already said no on Asante. I would bring Asante in, but the injury thing is the only thing that I'm concerned about. And there's a reason. There has to be a reason why he's unsigned. Because he's too good of a player. Like when healthy, but something's going on there. Von Miller, no, right? I think that's I think that's it. Zadarius Smith, that's an interesting one. Edge, what do you think?
Too many edges.
Okay. J.K. Dobbins, we don't need any more running backs. We just signed. What about Calais? Calais, let me tell you, good leader. Brung it last year. I thought he still had a little bit of juice in the tank last year for the Dogs.
I would entertain it. I would entertain it for more defensive tackle depth purposes.
Right. Exactly.
Like he could be 50.
And he might be a cheap contract, right? For a leader and a guy that still can bring it. I think I would entertain it for sure. I would bring in Campbell, right? And Mikey says, "Give me Campbell all day." I'm on board with that. Like I from what I saw last year with Miami, I was surprised that he still had like that much juice left in the tank. And like I said, the leadership alone. And then the money would probably make sense. It would probably be a low, not a crazy contract. Campbell will be perfect. We're going against the Ravens. I think so too. And once again, a veteran, a real, a guy that has seen everything, right, and still has some juice in the tank. I would definitely entertain that. I would. Like this is the guy here that it would be disappointing to see him sign somewhere on a cheap deal. You know what I mean? And we could have got him potentially. You know what I mean? For the same price. Like I hate seeing that when players get picked up. We're like, why didn't we get him? Like, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't we sign that guy for that kind of deal? Like it just, or when a trade happens and you're like, why wouldn't we offer a 6th round? So I hope they entertain the idea because why not? Safety 1, Thornhill. Yay or nay?
No.
Okay. Matthew Junon. Matt Junon. Edge. You're saying too many edges? Do you want to entertain it?
Yeah, too many edges.
Okay. He had his moment. Offensive lineman David Andrews.
No, I just dropped it. I mean, now I got Aaron Cromer. Now I can just, I can find a more athletic player.
All right. Conklin for tight end?
No.
Deontay Johnson?
No. Oh, hell no.
No. Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman, former.
No.
What about Lockett?
Too many slots.
Too many slots. You're right.
No, you got
all right. So really, there was only 2 on this, right? That we were on that we would bring back, or we would offer to sign. So that would be Campbell, and it would be Stephon Diggs. Correct?
Yep.
We're on board with that. And there was nobody else, right? Amari Cooper. Did we say you said no on a Cooper, right?
Yeah. I think he's gonna retire.
Okay. Spin Campbell was a beast last year. I thought he played real. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything from Campbell that said he had no juice left in the tank. The dude still can play, and he's a leader. Good dude. Can help out the young talent.
Cheap deal.
Dude, absolutely. And that what's it gonna hurt, right? Like that would make me happy. Like bring in Campbell, right? Like that's a. And by the way, the guy stays healthy. Like he doesn't really get hurt. Doesn't get hurt. He's reliable. Like that's like bring him in all day. We need that. Like we need guys that can stay injury free for a course of a season that can provide something. Like that's all we need. We need that. We need depth, and we need players that can provide something. Like give us something in return, right? Not just take the money and we wind up cutting them, or they produce nothing. Campbell and Groot are close to. Okay. Hey, you never know. Anyways, we've been on here a long fucking time, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Guys, man, we appreciate you guys rocking with us tonight. Bro, Jarek, thank you so much for being a special co-host. You always do this with us. And honestly, man, I appreciate that. Where can they find you?
Jant Sports on YouTube. Also, if you want to follow my other social medias, Jant716 on X. Jant716 on TikTok as well. But yeah, Jant Sports on YouTube. Definitely can find some of my rants. As I
he does.
I'm going to
in his kitchen.
Oh yeah, kitchen. Under boxers on, no socks on. It's just I'm just going in.
And if you're a Bama fan, that's you definitely want to follow Jarek as well. Big Bama fan. Keeps it real, keeps it honest. Appreciate your work, man, and what you do over there as well. So Friday, we will be back, me and Mikey, for Friday Night Lights. I do not have work this Friday, so we will be back, me and Mikey, Friday Night Lights, and we will talk more, and we'll get Mikey's opinion on this offseason, because Mikey seems to disagree on how this offseason has gone so far, and I like to hear his takes on that. So Bills Mafia, once again, we appreciate you guys rocking with us. I'm sorry I didn't get to a lot of your chat. I tried, but that's Mikey's thing. Mikey normally pops up comments, so I do apologize. I didn't mean to ignore you guys. I did see the comments. I try to put them up as much as I can. Bosa with the Hallmark Stadium noise will be lethal step off snap, 2 sacks a game at home. We'll see. I hope. Hey, you never know. Anyways, Bills Mafia, you guys rule. We're out of here. Peace. Go Bills.
Go Bills.